Chapter 121. Chapter 121. 4 Flavors Liquor Worm. Guu Clan. Shangli stood at the mountainside and gazed at the distant Guu village, a complicated expression on his face. Cool autumn wind was breezing gently. The color of autumn dyed the mountain. Tree leaves were a mix of yellow and red, with wild fruits growing all over the place. Only the Qingmao bamboo remained green and erect. Not long ago, Guu Clan was like these Qingmao bamboo, evergreen all the year, the overlord of Qingmao Mountain. Now, they are actually falling behind. Shangli's lips curved with a cold mocking smile. But quickly, he thought of the Bai village and the curve of his lips smoothed out, his mood turned serious. Bai village's uprising had already broken the old balance of Qingmao Mountain. The traditional hegemon, the Guu clan had weakened, Shang village's operations were not running properly, all these were pushing the situation in the Qingmao Mountain towards an upheaval. Shangli knew this upheaval hadn't erupted yet because of the pressure from the wolf tide. The 3 villages needed to collaborate if they wanted to overcome this wolf tide, thus they tacitly maintained peace and threw away grievances for the time being. Once the wolf tide is gone, Qingmao Mountain's old structure will be shattered. Bai Ningbing has already reached rank 3 in only a couple of years. It's really terrifying. Shangli recalled the figure of a white-clothed youth, and he felt stifled as if he was pressed down by a huge rock. He, Shangli, was the top amongst the Shang village's rank 2 Guu masters. He had fought all sorts of battles and won most of them, establishing his name. He held the Grand Bear Guu and could erupt with a bear's strength. He was also known as the strongest person in Qingmao Mountain. He had already made his debut and had personally seen the rocket-like emergence of Bai Ningbing, so he was clearer than others regarding the terror of this youth. Group leader, that is Guu village. It's still far away, why are we stopping here? From the side, Shang Lin raised his 2 hands and clasped them behind his head as he curiously asked. In this 5-person group, Shang Lin was the youngest and was a newbie who just made his debut. He was the same age as Fang Yuan and was this year's top genius of Shang village. His stature was short and he had shaved his head which seemed to shine under the sunlight. Shang Li looked at this new talent of the clan, his heavy mood eased up a little. He answered in a deep voice, "We are here on a diplomatic mission and not on a scouting mission. This area is already the warning area of the Guu clan, and we will probably be treated as enemies if we boldly enter." Oh, so it was like that. Shang Lin realized. We have 2 objectives this time. One is to hand the clan head's personal letter to Guu's clan head. Another is to investigate the matter regarding the river-swallowing toad. Guu village is not our area, so make sure to keep your temper in check when we get there. However, you absolutely can't degrade the prestige of our Shang village, understood? Shang Li's gaze swept all around and shouted. The rest of the Guu masters' expressions all turned serious and silently nodded. Group leader, someone's here, the scouting Guu master in the group suddenly spoke. We have revealed our movements for so long, they should be here by now. But who would it be? So it was Kai Shan. Soon after, Shang Li also discovered Kai Shan group, his eyes flashed. Wow, that person is so tall, is he Kai Shan? He is even taller than the group leader. Such muscles, piece by piece group leader, isn't he the guy born with super strength who has been trying to seize the title of the strongest person of the Qingmao Mountain? Shang Lin immediately looked straight at Kai Shan. HMPH, it had to be him. Shang Zhang spoke gloomily and twisted her lips in disdain. Shang Li, Kai Shan. The 2 groups were 50 steps apart from each other. The 2 group leaders came face to face, their gazes clashed in the air and seemed to form sparks. Looks like you are Shang village's special envoy this time, Kai Shan snorted coldly, he had fought many times with Shang Li. That's right, has the special envoy from the Bai village arrived? Shang Li's expression steeled up. Why ask so much? Follow me, Kai Shan cautiously turned and invited. Meanwhile, in the second secret room, 4 wine jars were in front of Fang Yuan. Sour, sweet, bitter and spicy, 4 flavors of wine. Sweet belonged to golden honey wine, spicy was white grains liquid, sour came from red berry wine, bitter was from bitter shell wine. Fang Yuan sat cross-legged on the ground. He then willed the 2 liquor worms to fly out of his aperture. The fusion process of 4 flavors liquor worm was slightly different from normal fusion. The 2 liquor worms followed Fang Yuan's will and entered the red berry wine jar. They started the fusion within the red berry wine. A white ball of light formed in the wine jar, its majestic light pierced out of the wine jar and shone on the wall. Fang Yuan threw primeval stones in the wine jar, 1 piece, 10 pieces, 50 pieces. When it reached the 100th piece, the light ball shrunk to a fist size and floated in the wine jar. The red berry wine was completely used up. Fang Yuan picked the second wine jar, golden honey wine, and poured it into the jar. The white ball of light was immersed in the honey wine, suddenly swelling up to its original size. Fang Yuan's head was soaked with sweat. He was constantly maintaining the fusion of the two liquor worms, consciousness, and such multitasking was extremely taxing on the mind. He continued to throw primeval stones towards the wine jar. Every piece of primeval stones caused the ball of light to shrink by a bit, until it condensed to a fist size again, reaching its limit. Fang Yuan followed the pattern and successively poured the bitter shell wine, then the white grains liquid. When the 4 types of wine were completely used up, the light in the wine jar suddenly flourished before disappearing completely. Success! Fang Yuan knew he had succeeded without even looking in the wine jar. He willed and a Gu shakingly flew out of the wine jar. It was the 4 flavors liquor worm. Comparing it with the liquor worm, there wasn't much change in its external form, except that it was slightly bigger. It also resembled a silkworm and had a tiny pair of shiny black eyes. The difference was that the liquor worm's body was completely white, but this 4 flavors liquor worm's body continuously flickered with 4 colors, red representing spicy, blue representing bitter, green representing sour and yellow representing sweet. Fang Yuan couldn't help but associate it with the neon lights on Earth. Huff! Fang Yuan let out a big sigh of relief. His luck was good this time and didn't encounter failure, succeeding the first time. If it failed, the liquor worms could suffer serious damage and one of them could even die, or the bitter shell wine might be used up. Either of these outcomes would be troublesome. Fortunately, this situation didn't occur. A GU master needs to use, nurture and refine GU, none of them were easy. And in the aspect of fusing GU worms, many GU masters would go through a lot to look for recipes and collect materials. There were various recipes and they might not necessarily be suitable. As for collecting materials, GU masters might even spend over 10 years of efforts on it. Even if they find the recipe and collect all the materials, if the fusion failed, the materials would be used up, and all their previous efforts and preparations would go down the drain. GU masters' cultivation is difficult. Fang Yuan sighed. Fusing GU worms were easy at the beginning stage of the cultivation. But the success rate for rank 4 and rank 5 fusion would often not reach even 1 in 10 times. Rank 6 fusion success rate was even as low as 1%. Every failure when fusing high-rank GU worms meant a loss of a great sum of resources. However, once succeeded, the benefits would be extremely high. Taking Fang Yuan's newly refined 4 flavors liquor worm into account, it could refine rank 2 primeval essence and increase it by a small realm. Fang Yuan used a red steel relic GU to advance to middle stage. Now, with the 4 flavors liquor worm, he would have upper stage primeval essence. His fighting strength was now doubled. At the same time, the 4 flavors liquor worm would nourish his aperture, which meant faster cultivation speed. However, with advantages comes disadvantages. Using the 4 flavors liquor worm to refine his primeval essence would definitely lead to an increased consumption of primeval stones. Just by relying on the income from selling vitality leaves was already not enough to maintain his cultivation expenditure. Next, I need to fuse the stealth rock GU into stealth scales GU. This will add on to another expenditure. Fusion, whether success or failure, used up primeval stones every time. Fang Yuan had used up over 400 primeval stones earlier for refining the 4 flavors liquor worm. The clan had awarded him with 500 primeval stones for chasing away the river-swallowing toad. 500 primeval stones was enough for other GU masters to spend for a long while, but Fang Yuan had almost used it completely. Fortunately, from the reselling of the assets, after using up most of it to purchase the red steel relic GU, some of it still remained. There was no need to worry for a short period of time. But it was necessary to refine the scales stealth GU. Fang Yuan had obtained the stealth rock GU after he killed the stone monkey king. However, it had no practical use. It could only conceal the body. That meant, once Fang Yuan used it, his body would be concealed and be invisible to people. But the clothes on his body, his wrist guards, leg wrappings and bamboo shoes would still be visible to the naked eyes. The stone monkey king had no worries about this, it was a wild beast and didn't need clothes. But Fang Yuan would be in an awkward situation. To use the stealth rock GU to the best of its ability and be invisible, he would need to take off all the clothes on his body. Otherwise, even if he concealed his body, others would see a set of, walking, rank 2 GU master's uniform. Stealth rock GU was a rank 1 GU worm. Once it advanced to rank 2 stealth scales GU, this problem would be resolved. Stealth scales GU could conceal even the clothes. If the Stone Monkey King had stealth scales GU, then even if Fang Yuan's shirt covered its body, the shirt would also become invisible. Supposing that the Stone Monkey King had stealth scales GU, then the matter of whether Fang Yuan could defeat it was rather suspenseful. Refining a stealth scales GU naturally required other materials other than the stealth rock GU. These materials were quite common and Fang Yuan had already requested Zhang Ya's help to gather them. If I could refine stealth scales GU, it will become very convenient for me to enter the secret cave. Moreover, during the wolf tide, I could easily attack and retreat with this method, Fang Yuan pondered. It was getting late. He retrieved the 4 flavors liquor worm into his aperture and exited the cave, walking towards the village. He had instantly attracted a lot of attention after successfully chasing away the river-swallowing toad. It was not easy moving about these days, so he was slightly worried that if he stayed for long in the secret cave, people would harbor suspicions. At the village gate, a bout of strength contest had concluded. Shang Li's group was proudly standing whereas Kai Shan's group along with the GU masters guarding the gate had heavy faces. Shang Li wasn't as tall as Kai Shan but his gaze seemed to be overlooking everything at this moment. He slowly spoke, Kai Shan, you are indeed blessed with super strength. But I have brown bear innate strength GU and I possess the strength of a bear. You saw from the battle just now that you are still not my match. HMPH, wanting to get the title of the strongest in Qingmao Mountain, dream on, Shang Zhang sneered from the side. Kai Shen's face was ashen. He knew the other party had intentionally challenged him and their conduct was filled with political intentions. His loss now was no longer just his personal affair, rather, it was tarnishing GUU clan's name. What are you being proud over defeating me? You don't know that I am no longer the strongest person in the clan. If you have skills, then speak after defeating Fang Yuan. Kai Shan had no choice but to mention Fang Yuan. Oh, Fang Yuan, I heard an A-grade genius emerged in GUU clan and his name was Fang Zheng. But who is this Fang Yuan? Shang Li asked, doubtfully. Kai Shan sneered, Fang Yuan is Fang Zheng's older brother. He is also blessed with innate super strength and similarly possesses a strength-increasing GU worm. Previously, he alone pushed the rank 5 river-swallowing toad over 100 meters, finally driving it away. If you don't believe me, you can ask anyone in the village. Shang Li Group's expressions couldn't help but change. Rank 5 river-swallowing toad. Fang Yuan. This name was instantly engraved in their minds. Chapter 122. Chapter 122. There are many blizzards in life. Whiz. 3 face-sized moonblades slashed through the air, carrying an eerie blue light. Screech. Instantly, 16 to 17 Jade Eye Stone Monkeys were killed on the spot. The Stone Monkey groups chasing after Fang Yu were instantly cut down by a small half. Fang Yuan stood on the spot and didn't retreat. Instead, he lifted his right hand and slashed the air 3 times. 3 moonblades ran through the Stone Monkey group, beheading any stone monkey in its way. The corpses of the stone monkeys fell on the ground, shattering into countless pieces. Their eyes turned into jade pearls and rolled on the blood-filled ground. Fang Yuan inspected his aperture. He still had greater half of dark red primeval essence remaining. The Moonglow GU required 10% of light red primeval essence to use a moonblade. Fang Yuan could only use 4 moonblades repeatedly at rank 2 initial stage. The number increased to 8 when he reached the middle stage. And at the upper stage, the number doubled once more, reaching 16. Fang Yuan wasn't really at rank 2 upper stage, but with the 4 flavors liquor worm's refining of upper stage primeval essence, he could be considered to be at false upper stage. His fighting strength was rising sharply. Before, he would have needed to fight while retreating when chased by these 70 or 80 stone monkeys. Now, he just attacked with the moonblades, rapidly killing most of them. The remaining stone monkeys had escaped. I cleared up 3 stone pillars within just 2 days. This speed is many times faster than before. If this goes on, I will be able to reopen a path to the central area in about half a month, Fang Yuan pondered. From the flower wine monk's style, the underground cave in the central pillars should be the next barrier. It is very likely that there will be another earth treasure flower GU at the barrier. I reckon the flower wine monk's strength inheritance is almost over. After all, he was seriously injured and his state was far from good, thus he hurriedly set up this inheritance. At most, there will probably be 2 more obstacles remaining. Fang Yuan recalled the scene on the image wall, the blood-soaked flower wine monk on his last breath. With his previous life's deep experience, he reached this conclusion. Flower Wine Monk had too little time to set up this legacy, there was no way for him to do more. However, this was a special case. GU masters normally used years to set up their legacies. There were some large-scaled legacies that would only open once every 10 or more years. Some legacies were even divided and scattered across different areas and could even be at the different ends of the world. The latter generations would need 10 or more years or even decades of time to go through all the tests of such legacies. Some legacies might not even be explored completely throughout a GU master's life. The GU master would often leave this incomplete task for their descendants. Flower Wine Monk's inheritance can be classified as a micro-scale legacy. Its shortcoming being the small amount of inheritance items. But this also has its advantage. The first barrier is arranged according to the local conditions and is thus simple. I have successively obtained White Boar GU, Jade Skin GU and Liquor Worm from this inheritance. Stealth Stone GU can be barely considered as the inheritance. Next, there are probably only 2 more Earth Treasure flowers remaining. I hope that the GU worms in them will be related to scouting or movement type. Time passed quickly, autumn went and winter arrived. Early winter, the first snowfall had come. The sky was gray, snowflakes floated and fell on Qingmao Mountain. Fang Yuan was moving alone through the snow. He had just come out from the secret cave in the stone crack and was hurrying towards the village. Over 2 months have passed, but my progress in clearing the stone pillars has not been good. Fang Yuan's countenance carried a dark scowl. It was not because he hadn't put in effort, but rather the prelude to the wolf tide had already shown its signs. Food was scarce during the winter, the growing wolf packs started to increase their hunting scale to gather enough foods to eat their fill. The wild beast groups in the surroundings were purged due to this. Small beast tides frequently started to occur due to the disorder. Similarly, there were also the crippled wolf packs. These crippled wolves were expelled from the nest. These wolves gathered together and formed a group. They had started making frequent movements near the village. It hadn't reached the wild stage of attacks on the village yet, but the hunter families no longer went up the mountain to hunt. Similarly, there were occasionally some villagers who lost their lives to the wolves. GUU village mobilized many GU masters to carry out a cleanup operation. Due to this, there were many people moving about, along with lot of scouting GU masters among them. Thus, Fang Yuan sensibly decreased the amount of times he went to the secret cave inside the stone crack. No doubt, this caused the speed of his progress in the stone forest to fall steeply. The cold wind was getting stronger, snow was also falling heavily. Hoo! A deep beastly howl suddenly spread through the wind and snow. Fang Yuan swiftly stopped and looked around, alert. A small-scale wolf pack with about 20 or more lightning wolves quickly appeared in range of his sight. Here we go again, Fang Yuan muttered. This was already the 8th beast group he had encountered this month. However, this time was somewhat different. The wolf packs are starting to make their moves so near to the village. Next, the clan's GU masters will make their moves more often. The stone crack's secret cave is not far away, looks like I can't go there for some time. Fang Yuan's heart sank upon this thought. The journey was difficult, there would always be some obstacles preventing people from progressing. The wolf pack closed in on Fang Yuan. Hoo! 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 They howled before charging at Fang Yuan, coming at him one after another. Moonglow GU, Fang Yuan willed, a moonblade flew out from his hand. The eerie blue moonblade slashed through the wind and snow, going through the sickly wolves. It instantly beheaded 3 wolves, but when it reached the 4th wolf, the wolf suddenly rolled and cleverly dodged the moonblade. Although most of these crippled wolves were handicapped, blind or missing their tails, they had plenty of battle experience and were very cunning. A normal rank 2 middle stage GU master would be in intense danger if they ran into such a group of crippled wolves and especially if they were surrounded by these wolves. But Fang Yuan was calm. His plentiful battle experience and the refined upper stage dark red primeval essence were the source of his confidence. Kill, kill, kill. He nimbly moved under the joint attacks from the crippled wolves, calmly dodging and decisively attacking. The wolves continued to die by his hands. After a short while, the number of the lightning wolves in the pack had sharply decreased by half. Hoo! A wolf gave a mournful howl. The wolf pack immediately stopped their offensive attacks and began retreating. This was the cunningness of these wolves. When they discovered that Fang Yuan was a tough bone, they decisively retreated, giving up their plan to hunt Fang Yuan. These old, sickly and injured wolves weren't in a perfect state but being able to live till now showed their survival wisdom. Fang Yuan stood on the spot, calmly looking at these crippled wolves disappearing into the wind and snow. If he could hide his strength, then he didn't feel it necessary to reveal it. After confirming that the wolf pack had completely escaped, he promptly collected the items on the wolf corpses. Wolf skin, teeth and so on were all valuable. Although their market price was on the low end, it could be made up by the quantity. In these 2 months, Fang Yuan had made some earnings from the spoils of war from eradicating these crippled wolves. The blood flowing from the wolf corpses were still warm. There were some crippled wolves who still had some breath left, their eyes showing a trace of vigor. In this world, not only humans but all living things are struggling to survive. This world is using life and death to unfold a brilliant stage. Fang Yuan sighed before ruthlessly killing off these dying wolves. A crippled wolf's fighting strength was higher than 2 jade eye stone monkeys. Under the coordination with the pack, their fighting strength would double. I can still deal with these small-scale crippled wolf packs, but it would be troublesome to handle large-scale crippled wolf packs or a small-scale healthy wolf pack. Fang Yuan could feel a faint pressure. The wolf tide will break out soon and the whole clan will be mobilized. I won't be able to act aloof. If I want to hunt the lightning wolves by myself, I must have a scouting or movement type GU. Otherwise, I will fall to the wolf tide. Fang Yuan clearly recognized his shortcomings due to his ample experience. His fighting strength had increased sharply after getting the 4 flavors liquor worm. With the Moonglow GU and Jade Skin GU, he had both offense and defense. With his previous life's deep accumulation, he could totally be ranked along with Qing Shu, Kai Shan and Mo Yan. One could say, he was barely, but already able to stand in the top ranks among the rank 2 GU masters of the clan. Why it was barely, was because he was not truly at the upper stage, and at the same time his aptitude was also only C grade and was thus very limited. Being able to accomplish this much with his fighting strength was already the best result, but fighting strength was only one aspect in surviving the wolf tide. I must have a scouting method. If I have a scouting GU worm, I will be able to sense the movements of the wolf pack and quickly retreat or move through another route. Or use movement type GU worms to quickly run and escape from the wolf pack's besiegement, Fang Yuan pondered. His survival rate would greatly increase if he had just one of these 2 GU worms. If he had both, then he would be able to move about easily. I hope Flower Wine Monk's legacy contains such GU worms. It's not a problem even if it doesn't. From my memories, the 3 clans would jointly establish contributions list during the wolf tides and put their stored GU worms out for exchange. There were many precious GU in the list. At that time, I can use my contributions and exchange them for Buyer Shang Village's GU worms. Fang Yuan planned in his mind and stood up. He had swiftly arranged the spoils of war in a short period and packed them in a bag which he then carried on his back. The snow continued to fall and soon froze the wolf blood, covering their corpses. Look, Fang Yuan is back. He is carrying a bag. Did he go out to hunt the crippled wolves again? It was him that saved our village. Hey, it was only by a stroke of luck. We both know how it went. If I had such great strength, I could also do that. It's no big deal. As Fang Yuan walked through the village, the people made way for him. There were praises, curiosity and also envy. Fang Yuan, Kai Shan suddenly appeared from a corner and shouted. Note, the blizzards, in the chapter title, there are many blizzards in life, is a metaphor for obstacles. Chapter 123. Chapter 123. I travel alone through heaven and earth. What's the matter? Fang Yuan looked at Kai Shan. Even if it was winter, he continued to be topless, his red skin emitting a warmth that made people feel like they were near a heater. The white snow that landed on his body instantly melted. This is because his aperture had a double orifice stove GU. The stove GU was a rank 2 GU worm. It could store internal heat that could be used for attacking. Subduing the cold was just a side effect. Kai Shan's expression was complicated. He stared at Fang Yuan and said gravely, do you know that these days, Shang Li from the Shang clan has been finding you for a contest of strength? I know, Fang Yuan nodded. Kai Shan sighed. Shang Li finding you for a contest of strength is not a mere competition, but it involves the interest allocation of the 3 clans, alliance. Under the wolf tide, non-alliance means destruction. But after forming an alliance, the biggest problem is how to distribute the interests and profits. These days, the 3 clans have been at a stalemate due to that. Fang Yuan looked at Kai Shan, instantly understanding why he had looked for himself. Negotiation was the hardest thing to do. For their own interests, the 3 clans would not give way automatically, and they would have to fight for their best interests. The negotiation table was long filled with gunpowder and smoke, battling wits. In this world's system of values, first was strength, second was kinship. Qingmao Mountain's 3 clans were individual clans, having great conflict towards each other since a long time ago, each bearing old and deep grudges. Of course kinship cannot be used to alleviate their tensions. So to break the tension, they had to rely on strength. On Earth, there are military exercises to display one's strength. In this world, it worked similarly in that there are GU contests to display the strength of one faction and achieve greater benefits for themselves. Shangli finding Fang Yuan for a contest to compete strength, was due to this. As expected, Kai Shan said next, I have competed with Shangli, he has the brown bear innate strength GU and already possesses the strength of one bear. He also has the grand bear GU, and can increase his strength by another bear. Together he has 2 bears' strength. I am far beyond his match, as much as I want to deny it. But as Qingmao Mountain's #1 strongest person, the title belongs to him no doubt. He paused for a while, then continue, let's talk business. Your strength is around mine, so you are not his match either. But you cannot lose, as you were the one who woke up the river-swallowing toad, the hero that saved Qingmao Mountain. Once you lose, our GUU clan's interests will be compromised. So for the clan's interests, discard your personal honor and avoid battle. Fang Yuan stared silently at Kai Shan. Kai Shan looked down, I know that this matter towards you is very difficult. After all, avoiding the competition has a disastrous damage towards one's own reputation. But it is for the interests of the clan, if you lose, the clan would have to give up much more. The clan has nurtured us, we naturally have to contribute to the clan, right? The clan needs you. Sacrificing your own reputation for the clan is only natural. But this matter started due to me, so in my personal name, I will compensate you for it, as part of my goodwill. Saying so, Kai Shan handed Fang Yuan a large money bag. Fang Yuan weighed it, and chuckled, so my reputation is only worth 200 primeval stones. Kai Shan could hear the sarcasm in his words, his gaze sharpened as he said solemnly, Fang Yuan, please do not have any indignant feelings. Earlier, I tried to console you with kind words, but the truth is I'm here with a mission. Avoiding the competition is the clan higher-ups' orders. Regardless of what you think, this is an order. I hope you understand your position. Saying so, he turned around and left, leaving deep footprints in the snow. Fang Yuan looked at Kai Shan's back as his eyes revealed a sign of understanding. In order to get the greatest benefits, the clan has already used the event of me chasing away the river-swallowing toad as a chip in the negotiation. After all, the river-swallowing toad was a danger to the entire Qingmao Mountain. In order to get rid of this chip, the Shang clan sent Shangli to challenge me. To the clan, I am but a chess piece. Shangli is the same, and Kai Shan is also a chess piece. What is sad is that these people are willingly being pawn pieces, even basking in its glory and finding it natural. This is truly a successful brainwash by the clan. But I originally did not want to compete with Shangli anyway, the so-called reputation is merely praises from others. This chain that binds people has captured many heroes and geniuses in the past. But to me, what loss is there? Hee, I have to thank Kai Shan for sending me 200 primeval stones. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan smirked. Why did he attract Shangli's challenge? Merely because he had the glory of saving the village. Why did Kai Shan challenge Shangli? It was merely for the reputation of Qingmao Mountain's #1 strongman. The so-called reputation is merely a superficial carrot. It has tempted many people and trampled many others, manipulating countless people. Sad, how sad. Snow continued to descend slowly. The entire GUU village was silently erected in the snow. The people beside him rushed through the streets. What's laughable is that these people have had their bodies trapped by this fictitious glory. Fang Yuan's eyes drooped down as his eerie dark iris was half covered by hair. The light reflecting from the snow shone on his face. The young man's face was pale and had a sort of coldness. Suddenly laughing, Fang Yuan recited a poem, White snow blankets the land as I travel alone through heaven and earth. Alone without any attachments, my solitary shadow travels freely. He took a large step and continued traveling. While others rushed, Fang Yuan walked alone. Whether it was clansmen, snow or the village, they were merely a blurry background. A moment later, he reached his rental apartment. The bamboo buildings in the wine tavern, he had already sold them all away. He continued to stay in the rented flat, and although it was very simple, Fang Yuan did not ask for more, he just needed a shelter over his head. Sitting on the bed, Fang Yuan began to cultivate. GU masters in cultivating to break through a large realm, needed ability and talent. But to break through a small realm, it was merely the accumulation of time. With enough time, the aperture would be continuously nurtured, and it can continue to elevate. According to agreement, when it reached evening, Zhang came to Fang Yuan's residence. Lord Fang Yuan, these are the primeval stones this time, please inspect it. He walked into the room, handing over 5 money bags respectfully, filled with primeval stones. There was more than 400 primeval stones inside, and as the wolf tide approached, GU masters had an increased reliance on the vitality leaves. This caused Fang Yuan's sale price to continuously go up. Fang Yuan handed Zhang Ya 9 vitality leaves, asking, "The thing I asked you to purchase, have you done it?" Zhang Ya showed a look of disappointment, shaking his head, "Lord Fang Yuan, this is bad timing. The wolf tide is coming, and the clan has increased its control on resources. Other things aside, that fish scale GU is only slightly less valuable than the jade skin GU. I have already tried my best, but it is difficult to have results immediately." Fang Yuan frowned. Fish scale GU was used with stealth rock GU to create the stealth scale GU. Without the fish scale GU, he couldn't refine the stealth scale GU. Even with resource control, it does not mean we cannot find a fish scale GU. The root of the problem is Zhang Ya's ability being too small. It seems that fusing the stealth scale GU would have to drag on. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart. But he was not discouraged. 9 out of 10 things in this world will not go according to plan. This is life, and the phrase, smooth sailing, is only a beautiful greeting. Bai clan produces the fish scale GU, and our clan also has them, although less in number. It seems this matter has to wait after the formal alliance. Fang Yuan was not in a rush. He knew that once the 3 clans form an alliance, they would create the battle merit board. This would encourage GU masters to proactively hunt wolves. By then, he would be able to use his merit points to exchange for the 3 clans' resources. Of course, GUU clan's Moonlight GU, Shang clan's Bear Strength GU and Bai clan's Stream GU were the clan's signature, and would not be exchangeable. But the fish scale GU was definitely inside. Danger is accompanied by opportunity. To GU masters, the wolf tide was a strict examination, but also an opportunity to rise up. Under the attack of the wolf tide, numerous famous GU masters died while many GU masters gained fame due to it. The older factions in the clan would weaken due to this, but new factions would rise up into the political stage. At night, unexpected guests arrived. GUU Qingshu and GUU Fang Zheng. Qingshu got to the main point, mentioning his previous objective, wanting to buy the liquor worm from Fang Yuan. At the same time, he also wanted to buy the black boar GU, and even the 9-leaf vitality grass. 9-leaf vitality grass was a no-brainer. Liquor worm had long become the 4-flavor liquor worm. Even if Fang Yuan wanted to, he couldn't even produce it now, thus he rejected them. But the black boar GU. I have already gained the strength of a boar, so the black boar GU has little value to me anymore. Black boar GU's best advancement path is the steel mane GU. Although it is a GU with both offense and defense, to me who already has the white jade GU, it has little use. I might as well exchange it into a fish scale GU. Fang Yuan thought of this, and mentioned it. Fish scale GU. Qingshu frowned, then nodded, "I know, you lack a defensive GU worm. The fish scale GU can be fused into the rank 2 scale armor GU. It can provide good defense. Using the fish scale GU and stealth rock GU to create the stealth scale GU, the recipe would only be discovered 200 years later, so it was natural that Qingshu had no clue. Fang Yuan did not expose himself. The black boar GU is more valuable than the fish scale GU, so if we exchange it, you have to compensate me the difference in price." Naturally, Qingshu nodded then asked, "Never mind about the 9-leaf vitality grass, are you really not selling the liquor worm? It is useless to you already, raising it for nothing is just a waste of your primeval stones." Fang Yuan shook his head, "Don't mention the liquor worm, it is not for sale." Qingshu rubbed his nose, laughing bitterly, "Fang Yuan, this matter is more complicated than you think. Do you know GU Yaola? She is the granddaughter of Medicine Hall elder GU Yaoji, a new student this year, and has B-grade aptitude. GU Yaoji loves her granddaughter and once tried to buy a liquor worm in the treehouse but did not succeed. You've used the liquor worm before, I'm sure you know the benefits it has. I won't say any more, but Lord Yaoji really wants this GU worm for her granddaughter. An elderly's affection for her grandchildren is completely understandable. Thus, she has come to you. She is serious about buying it and has offered a high price. She even promises that if you got injured in the wolf tide, you'd get special attention from the medicine hall. I hope you consider it thoroughly." Chapter 124. Chapter 124. I don't need your understanding. So that's it. Fang Yuan rubbed his chin, then shook his head. This liquor worm is not for sale. Since Yao Ji is insistent, why isn't she finding that GU master who bought the liquor worm? Hearing this, Qing Shu looked like a dark cloud was looming over him as he sighed deeply. Sigh, we do not know which clansman has it. After buying this liquor worm, there has been absolutely no news. We cannot find anything, and we cannot simply inspect apertures right. That is a taboo, the biggest taboo among GU masters. For a small matter like the liquor worm, causing public rage is not good. But it is understandable that this clansman is keeping a low profile on his treasure. This is also human nature. Qing Shu did not know that the real person who bought the liquor worm was sitting in front of him. But Qing Shu never suspected Fang Yuan, since in his perspective, Fang Yuan had the liquor worm already, he wouldn't need to buy a second one. What's the use of it? If he knew about the 4-flavor liquor worm's recipe, he would definitely suspect Fang Yuan. But now, this recipe was solely Fang Yuan's secret to keep. The only one who knew that Fang Yuan was the buyer is Jia Fu. But to Jia Fu, Fang Yuan could be helping another person to buy it. Whether it be a relative or a lover, something like this is natural. Yao Ji is the same right, buying the liquor worm for her granddaughter. No matter what, I am not giving way for this liquor worm matter. Fang Yuan's attitude was firm without any loosening, as he smirked in his heart. This was the system. The system made one strong, but it was also a restraint. Gu Yao Ji was a rank 3 GU master. She was much stronger than Fang Yuan, but due to the system she could not snatch it from him. Due to the rules of the system and minding her own reputation, she cannot forcefully purchase it either. Fang Zheng, who was at one side, suddenly urged, "Brother, the liquor worm is useless to you, why cling on to it? Granny Yao Ji is very kind. I've met Sister Yao La many times too, she is a good person, I am sure she will take good care of the liquor worm. And the liquor worm is very helpful to her. Kindness begets kindness, brother, you saved the village and I am happy for you. This brings honor to our family as well. But why are you being so stubborn now, isn't this too petty?" Fang Yuan's expression stiffened as he said coldly, "My good little brother, are you lecturing me? The liquor worm is my business. Even if it rots in my hands, you have no rights to dictate what I do." He was not really angry, but attitude is the mask of the heart, and by expressing his attitude, it would allow Qing Shu to see his determination to reject. It seems Fang Yuan is bent on rejecting. Bringing Fang Zheng here on purpose was a bad move. These brothers have a poor relationship and are always at odds. I've shot myself in the foot. Gu Qing Shu's gaze shone. Fang Zheng, go out and shop around. Fang Zheng wanted to say more, but he was stopped by Qing Shu. Fang Zheng gritted his teeth, but still obeyed Qing Shu's command. Either way, I cannot understand you in this matter, big brother. He opened the door, leaving his last sentence. What I do, does not require your understanding, Fang Zheng. Fang Yuan was expressionless. Fang Zheng's movement of opening the door stopped for a moment, but he quickly walked out of the room without turning around, closing the room door with a bam. This movement caused the room's atmosphere to become even more awkward. If there is nothing else, brother Qing Shu can take your leave. Fang Yuan instantly evicted his guest. He, Qing Shu laughed dryly, trying to alleviate the tension, but Fang Yuan's face was cold as ice, showing no signs of change. But his temper was mild, and he did not get frustrated. Touching his nose, Qing Shu laughed awkwardly. There is another matter, regarding the 9-leaf vitality grass. The 9-leaf vitality grass is not for sale. Fang Yuan rolled his eyes. I know, Qing Shu nodded, it is regarding the vitality leaf, this is the personal business of my group. I hope you can supply the produced vitality grass to us. Of course, we will pay you an appropriate compensation. Seeing business approaching, Fang Yuan naturally did not reject. Then, 65 primeval stones per leaf. Qing Shu, on hearing the price, was tongue-tied. According to market rates, the clan's original sale price is 55 primeval stones. Although the vitality leaf is an expenditure type rank 1 GU, gone after one use, this was something to save lives, and nobody would mind more of it. Especially with the wolf tide nearing, the clan is also raising prices, and each leaf is sold at 60 primeval stones. Actually, not just the vitality leaf, but also resources are also getting pricier. This is the volatility of the situation, and GU masters have to live with it. But what Qing Shu did not expect was, Fang Yuan's price was even higher than the clan's. Finding it expensive, you don't have to buy it. But as far as I know, after the wolf tide, the clan will tightly control resources, and the vitality leaf would have excess demand. By then, the prices will soar again, there might not even be stock. What do you think? Fang Yuan's tone was calm as he safely evaluated his pricing. Qing Shu was stumped, his tone turning helpless. You sure are clear of it? But your price raising is slightly overbearing. Aren't you afraid of offending people? If you reduce the prices, you can use the opportunity to build relationships. But if you raise prices like this, the clansmen will keep a grudge on you for earning profits this way. Fang Yuan raised his head and laughed. The wolf tide is nearing, I am but a small fry, I can die any day. How can I bother with these trivialities? You have long gone past the stage of a small fry, and human relationships are not trivial either. Qing Shu stared at Fang Yuan deeply, then lightly shook his head. But everyone has their own thoughts and choices, I will not force you. However, do be more careful, Lord Yaoji will not let go so easily. Goodbye. Qing Shu no longer mentioned the matter of purchasing vitality leaves. Fang Yuan's prices had scared him. He was a smart person, and when a smart person buys things, they do not act on impulse, but only after intelligent consideration. A smart person would have an evaluation in their heart, and once the prices exceed their worth, they would calmly pull out. Fang Yuan seemed to have only increased the price by 5 primeval stones, but Qing Shu was not just buying one vitality leaf, and the wolf tide would be going on for at least a year. He would be expending a lot of vitality leaves. If this accumulated, it would be a heavy cost. Thanks for your advice, take care, I shall not send you off, Fang Yuan said, watching Qing Shu leave. His heart was clear as he knew that Qing Shu would definitely be back. That is because he had underestimated the wolf tide's severity too much. Under such a wolf tide, death might instantly befall anyone, and the vitality leaf had no lack of customers. In his memory, the price rocketed to over 100 primeval stones. Of course, this price was also during the period when the wolf tide was at its strongest. Right now, what Fang Yuan wanted to do was to accommodate to the time period, gradually raising prices. As time flowed, the winter wind grew more cold and harsh. This year's winter winds were evidently colder than previous years for Qingmao Mountain's 3 villages. Taking the Guu village for example, more and more crippled wolves appeared near the village surroundings. The clan sent out large amounts of missions, and almost all of them were about exterminating the crippled wolves. During December, when the crippled wolves amount reached its peak, this caused the situation to worsen quickly, reaching an atrocious level. In fact, there was even a situation where a hamlet at the mountain foot was slaughtered by a large group of wolves. Good thing was, the dozen Gu masters in the village retreated in time. The clan higher-ups breathed a sigh of relief secretly, as the death of a Gu master would cause them to feel pity for over half a day, but for mortals, they were all slaves anyway, so be it if they die. In this world, there are no human rights. A Gu master's life is more valuable than 100 mortals, this is the viewpoint of everybody. However, death and injury would definitely not be little, thus, the village had sounds of crying and sniffing from morning to night. The village emanated a sense of grief and suppression throughout. The crippled wolves were only the prelude, the true wolf tide was even more horrifying. More and more people started to realize that the wolf tide this year is exceptional. Under such pressure, the negotiation that had been under a stalemate obtained quick progress, and the 3-clan alliance was formed. A month later, at the end of winter, Alliance Slope, 3-clan alliance meeting. Little snowflakes that were like soft white fur slowly drifted down. Hundreds and thousands of Gu masters gathered here, forming a grand scale. The alliance slope was originally an ordinary mountain slope, but throughout history, the Guu clan's second-generation clan head managed to create the first 3-clan alliances at the slope. Thus forth, all future alliances were held there. After many years of refinement, the current alliance slope had already expanded tens of times, becoming a giant town square. The town square was along the mountain wall, and there was a huge rock erected there. On the huge rock, there were rock carvings of buildings, and in the buildings there was rock furniture properly assembled. The 3-clan higher-ups were sitting inside, closely discussing. Below the giant rock building, the 3 clans' Gu masters had their respective standings, forming 3 large groups. Gu masters wore similar battle clothing, and along with a belt, their respective cultivation levels were apparent. Fang Yuan was within them. He secretly observed the situation. The Gu masters below the stage were all rank 2 Gu masters. Most rank 1 Gu masters were allocated to support, and only rank 2 Gu masters were the true mobile troops. As for rank 3 GU masters, they were clan elders, and for a mid-size clan like the GUU clan, even after each generation's effort they only had a little more than 20 clan elders. Fang Yuan was observing, and the other GU masters were also watching. Countless gazes intersected with hatred, curiosity, and alertness. GUU clan's GU masters were on the skinny side. Shang clan's GU masters were strong and robust, and from appearance their strength could be shown. Bai clan's GU masters, maybe due to living by the waterfall behind the mountain, had whitish skin and had a yin aura around them. That long hair guy is GUU Qing Shu, rank 2 peak stage, and is the GUU clan's number 1 rank 2 GU master, some pointed out. Mo Yan, HMPH, this wrench caused me to lose an arm. After the wolf tide, I must get revenge. Someone snorted in their heart. Whoa, that girl riding on the giant bear, she should be the Shang clan's Shang Jiao man. Don't be deceived by her appearance, she goes battle crazy when fighting. Do you see that white fat girl? She's Bai clan's Bai Zhang Shui, a rank 2 upper stage fighter, who has the water boar GU. She is very promiscuous and very lustful towards men. You newbies be careful, don't get fucked by her. The 3 clans' animosity and grudges had long been deep-seated. Alliance Slope's discussion noises became louder as it turned into an uproar. Many GU master seniors were pointing around, introducing the strong people from the other 2 clans to their juniors, reminding them to be careful of them. 1. Yin aura, this is a bit hard to explain. Yin is associated with females, dark energy, water energy. Reminder, Shang clan, Bear clan, Bai clan, White clan. Chapter 125. Chapter 125, oh, then I admit defeat. The traditional overlord GUU clan, the newly rising Bai clan, and the never underestimated Shang clan, Feng Yuan's gaze flew across the people as he stood in the crowd, observing the entire situation. GUU clan has Qing Shu, Kai Shan, Mo Yan, Shang and Bai clan also had their outstanding rank 2 elite GU masters. Together with the different clans' heads and elders in the rock building, the Alliance Slope can be said to be filled with elites. I wonder which one is Bai Ningbing, the man who symbolizes the Bai clan's rise. Bai Ningbing is already rank 3, he is definitely not among the rank 2 GU masters. It seems he isn't in the rock building either. Gradually, the discussions gathered on Bai Ningbing. Although Bai Ningbing did not appear, his brilliance had already suppressed all the GU masters below the rock building. I remember that 3 years ago on the Alliance Slope, it was Bai Ningbing who was the first to step out and start the GU battle. In just 3 years, he became a rank 3 clan elder, thinking about it makes me shudder. He rose to heaven in 1 step. When he was rank 2, he could defeat a clan elder in the Shang clan. This guy has a bright future ahead. The point is that right now he has already grown up, and at this rate, he can become a rank 4 expert and even rank 5. As for rank 6, rank 5 is mortal, while rank 6 is immortal. Rank 5 is already amazing. Rank 6, HMPH, you are all overestimating him. That might not be, who can predict the future? Under such discussions, the 3 clan heads in the rock building stood up, staring down at the thousands of GU masters. GUU clan head was in the center, Bai clan head and Shang clan head at his left and right respectively. The Alliance Slope gradually quietened down. GUU Bo held the railings, sweeping a glance at the crowd, before saying, the 3 clan alliance will pull together in times of trouble. For the GU battle tournament, in the spirit of competition, competitors shall stop before fatality occurs. Start. The Alliance Slope was dead silent. The crowd looked at each other. The 3 clan alliance would always hold a GU battle tournament. Not only was it to show off the clan's individual strength, it was also to promote conversation and temporarily alleviate their grudges, to achieve the aims of working together. But who will stand out first? If the first GU master to stand up failed in public, it would be shameful on their own reputation, and it even shames the clan elders up in the rock building. Last time, Bai Ningbing stood up. But this time, the crowd continued to hesitate. Suddenly at the Shang clan's side, a group of GU masters stood first. It was Shang Li's group. Immediately, the group of 5 invited numerous people's attention and gaze. The Shang Li group walked past the GUU clan's area, and under everyone's watchful eye, he stood at the Bai clan's territory. It's Shang Li, Qingmao Mountain's strongest man. That's right, it seems that not too long ago, the GUU clan's Kai Shan lost to him in public. His title is unmovable, not even Bai Ningbing can take it away. Damn it, the GUU clan isn't going over, are they trying to bully our Bai clan? At the Bai clan territory, there was a mild disturbance. Many people knew Shang Li's strength, and felt a sense of pressure. But Shang Li looked around, and did not move from his spot. Instead, Shang Zhang who was beside him stood out. Shang Zhang had a thin body, and at the Shang clan's area with lots of burly men, he was very striking. He took a few steps forward, facing the Bai clan's GU masters, cupping his fist. Shang clan Shang Zhang challenges brother Bai Bingyi. Once he spoke, astonished noises could be heard below the rock building. Bai Bingyi's status was around the same as Kai Shan and Shang Li etc. Among the Bai clan's young GU masters, he is only inferior to Bai Ningbing. For Shang Zhang to challenge him, he was evidently trying to overcome the stronger foe. But could he? Bai Bingyi stood up with a grim face. His body was small and his face was pale. He was like a patient who had just recovered from a serious illness, giving off a feeling of being weak and sickly. But no one dared to underestimate him. You, Shang Zhang, dare to challenge me, you have some courage. How do you want to compete? Say it, I'll accept it, he said to Shang Zhang. Shang Zhang laughed darkly. I specialize in defense, and you specialize in attack. How about this, I defend and you attack. I'll give you 3 attacking opportunities, and we'll compare the results. This was not a life and death match, it was only sparring. But Shang Zhang had such confidence, he was obviously prepared, and this caused many people to mutter among themselves. Bai Bingyi raised his brows. Shang Zhang, no matter what GU worm, you are still a rank 2 GU master, your cultivation is like that. Do you really think you can block my water drill GU? If I injure you, don't complain. Shang Zhang snickered, we wouldn't know unless we try, right? Come. Saying so, he activated the GU in his body and his body changed color, becoming dry and green like a dead block of wood. At the same time his teeth turned sharp and long, and 4 fangs were exposed out of his lips. His iris also turned green. This was the rank 2 GU, roaming zombie GU. Once activated, it could turn one into a zombie. Compared to living people, zombies are better at resisting punches and kicks and have greater regeneration, but is afraid of fire, lightning and light, although it has greater resistance towards water, wind and poison. At the same time, zombies when fighting under the sunlight are not as strong as in the night, and thus are weakened by the time of the day. Even so, I am not afraid, Bai Bingyi laughed coldly, raising his right arm. Under everyone's watchful gaze, he gathered his 5 fingers at one point and contracted his fist. First, a droplet of water formed on his 5 fingers, then in the blink of an eye, the droplet expanded, turning into a fast-flowing current, and from his fingertips the water coiled around his palm in a spiral manner. In 2 breaths' time, Bai Bingyi's fist was already covered by a light blue-colored spiral drill that rotated non-stop. Rank 2 water drill GU. Able to drill through rocks and steel with very strong attack power, barely any GU worm could defend against it. Receive my blow, Bai Bingyi coughed, throwing out his fist. Shang Zhang raised both arms, forming an arm shield. The water drill hit his arm, and a large amount of water splattered. The two were at a deadlock for a few breaths when suddenly the water drill's rotation intensified, and Shang Zhang flew 5 to 6 steps back. Shang Zhang laid on the ground, but quickly did a belly flip, standing again. One could see that the muscles on both his arms were torn by the water drill, showing his pale white bones. Bai Clan's GU masters upon seeing this scene uncontrollably cheered, but a small number frowned. He, Shang Zhang laughed slyly, not minding his injury as a zombie, his pain sensors had been reduced to 0. Bai Bingyi stood on the spot, but suddenly his pale face changed, and he vomited a mouthful of blood. Bai Clan GU masters' cheers ended. What happened? Someone exclaimed. It's the Shadow Bond GU. Bai Bingyi stared deeply at the ground, where Shang Yang's shadow was distorted at a creepy angle, pasted on top of the snow. It connected both Shang Zhang and Bai Bingyi together. It seems I win, brother Bai. With this Shadow Bond GU, no matter how much injury I suffer, you will take 10% of it. I specialize in defense, but you are a pure attacker, and you have poor health, so even 10% of the damage is deadly to you, Shang Zhang said plainly. Bai Bingyi wiped the blood traces off his lips, staring deeply at Shang Zhang for a while before saying, good. Very good, you planned well with such great tactics. I lost. He admitted defeat on the spot. Too unscrupulous. Absolutely cunning and shameless. To think he had a Shadow Bond GU, senior Bai Bingyi was completely outplayed. Bai Clan's GU masters exploded into a series of discussions. Shang Zhang cupped his fist, I'm flattered. If we really fought, the final winner would still be brother Bai. The Shadow Bond Gu's range is limited, it can only bully close-range GU masters. I hope Brother Bai can take good care of me in this upcoming wolf tide. Of course. Bai Bingyi's expression softened a little, and nodded. Bai Clan's GU masters also started to quieten down. Standing on the rock building, the 3 clans higher-ups who had been observing, nodded discreetly at this scene. The GU fighting competition was only for sparring and not ruthless assault. Shangjiang exposing a trump card also increased each other's trust and understanding. Whether it was Shangjiang or Bai Bingyi's attitude, they were good. Resolving it like this, the Bai clan's GU masters, even if they did not admit it, felt admiration towards Shangjiang. After all, the strong were respected. Shang Li's group had a good start, Gu Yubo lightly praised. He. Shang clan head beside him laughed lightly, Shangjiang had given him face. Bai clan head at the other end had a tough expression. But Shang Li's group did not quit while they were ahead. The 5 left the Bai clan's area, and came to the Gu clan. After challenging the Bai clan, they are challenging the Gu clan now. Oh no, Shang Li himself is stepping up now. Gu clansmen were slightly nervous, many of their gazes were gathered on Kai Shan, Mo Yan and Qing Shu. But who knew? Shang Li shouted loudly, "Who is Fang Yuan? Please stand up. I heard you could chase away the river-swallowing toad alone, why don't we have a contest of strength?" Instantly, the crowd exploded. Shang Li stood up, yet he did not challenge Qing Shu, Kai Shan or Mo Yan, but instead pointed out a newbie junior. Fang Yuan, who is Fang Yuan? Some of the other village's GU masters had never heard this name before. Chasing away the river-swallowing toad alone, oh my god, that's a rank 5 GU, is he so absurd? Some shot glances of shock and curiosity. Gu clan's GU masters took the initiative and opened up a path, and Fang Yuan who was among them was exposed. Without anything hindering their vision, Shang Li and Fang Yuan stared at each other. Shang Li's lips curled to an angle, saying with a very manly elegance, "I hope Fang Yuan would generously teach me." This Fang Yuan, who in the world is he? He doesn't have 3 heads or 6 limbs anyway. Chasing away the river-swallowing toad is also by coincidence and luck, it is nothing hard. Hey, being targeted by this muscled man Shang Li, he is in big trouble now. Fang Yuan, you can't avoid it anymore. Sigh, in that case, just hope for the best and go ahead and battle. Kai Shan sighed in his heart. Oh, is that so? Fang Yuan shrugged with a plain expression, then I admit defeat. The moment he said so, the crowd all went dumbfounded. Chapter 126. Chapter 126, Demise of the Wood Charm. Admit defeat. Fang Yuan's words were still lingering in the crowd's ears. Instantly, almost all the rank 2 GU masters below the rock building looked at Fang Yuan with surprise. Fang Yuan ignored them. He held his arms and stood on the spot with an indifferent expression. Admit defeat. He directly admitted defeat. Did I hear that wrongly? He is Fang Yuan. He doesn't even have the guts to come out, haha. We recognize Shang Li's power, he is indeed strong. But even if you want to admit defeat, at least do that after the formalities. By directly admitting defeat, he is not only showing that he is a coward, he is even tarnishing the clan. The whispers were like ripples in a calm lake. The GU masters' gazes turned from surprise to despise, scorn and gloating. Many GU clan GU masters felt unease. The gazes from the Shang and Bai clans' GU masters were like invisible needles, piercing their self-esteem. Fang Yuan was a member of the GU clan, with him directly admitting defeat, this made them feel absolutely humiliated. How could you admit defeat? Fang Yuan, you are a man of GU village, stand up and fight bravely with Shang Li. Even if you lost, it wouldn't be anything serious. If you don't even have the guts to go out, then that would really be throwing away our dignity. Some GU clan GU masters shouted and urged Fang Yuan to take the challenge. Fang Yuan was indifferent. To him, these words were like dogs barking. The so-called name, face and honor was only a pie painted on a paper, shackles used by the higher-ups to bind the organization members. These GU masters were also dogs on a leash. Shang Li gazed at Fang Yuan and suddenly laughed, I am truly disappointed. Is this how a GU village's bravery looks like? GU clan GU masters looked unsightly when they heard this. Hoots of laughter came from Shang village's side, and even Bai village's GU masters looked at GU clan with mockery. The people around Fang Yuan started moving away. Everyone made some distance from him, their faces were filled with embarrassment. Soon, there was no one within 5 steps from Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan stood alone, my way or the highway, one, his expression was calm as opposed to the surroundings. Others fancied a courageous reputation, but Fang Yuan scoffed at it. This made others loathe him. Because Fang Yuan loathed fame, he was rejecting the society's values. Denying this system of values was rejecting the people who lived their lives following these values. Others naturally wouldn't deny their own values, otherwise they would feel that they were living in a wrong way. Thus, they had subconsciously started to reject and boycott Fang Yuan. A weak-hearted person would be defeated by such rejection and they would change themselves to suit the public. However, Fang Yuan needed such rejection. He had too many secrets on him and so he needed to be solitary. At the same time, these people weren't worth being friends with. In his memories, Qingmao Mountain's 3 villages barely survived the wolf tide, but the accident 2 years later would totally destroy them and turn the entire Qingmao Mountain into a desolate area. What Fang Yuan needed was to use this time to improve himself as much as possible, then leave the clan and avoid the fatal disaster. Jiuyu Qingshu, the number 1 rank 2 Jiu master in the Jiuyu clan, couldn't help but stand up seeing this situation. Shang Li, how about sparring with me? Hee, what will we compete on? Shang Li was smiling, but his expression was serious. Jiuyu Qingshu didn't look at Shang Li. He slightly raised his palm and silently moved his primeval essence. His eye watchfully looked at the green vine that was slowly growing out from his palm. He calmly said, let's compete on your strength. If you can break away from my green vine's binding, I will admit defeat. Is that okay? Hee, good suggestion, let's do it that way. Shang Li grinned, his eyes revealing a bright light. He inwardly thought, I already have the strength of a bear and combining it with the strength increase from Grand Bear Jiu, I possess the strength of 2 bears. Although green vine is tough, I have absolute guarantee of breaking it away with the strength of 2 bears. Shang Zhong won against Bai Bingyi and if I defeat Qingshu, it would give us great reputation. Qingshu gently smiled. Without speaking, he extended his 2 hands, 2 green vines grew out from his palms. Like 2 nimble green pythons, the 2 vines climbed up Shang Li and twisted around his body. Shang Li's hands were at his waist. The green vines coiled around both his arms and instantly made a dozen circles around them, tightly binding his hands with his back. The Jiu masters on the scene couldn't take their eyes off this contest. Please, Qingshu said to Shang Li. Shang Li opened his eyes. He tightly clenched his fists and started putting strength. Every muscle on his body seemed to stand out like lumps on a huge rock. Strength of a bear, boom, the green vines started to snap under his enormous strength. Ha ha ha. Brother Qingshu, it seems the winner of this contest belongs to me. Shang Li was using his strength to break free, but he still had enough energy to make a conversation. Senior Qingshu, Fang Zheng was nervous and his hands were sweating. The other Jiu clan's Jiu masters were also the same. Jiu Qingshu was the number 1 among them and if he lost the contest, the Jiu clan would have thoroughly lost their face this time. Not necessarily. Jiu Qingshu smiled, his eyes showing confidence. When he finished speaking, the green vines on his hands started changing. The originally green-like jade color suddenly changed to a dark green color. At the same time, the vines also became thicker and green-wide leaves started growing on it. Shang Li's face changed. He sensed the green vine's coiling strength had increased by more than 10 times. What made him more apprehensive was that those green vines which he had broken away from started growing and reconnected with the broken areas. Grand Bear Jiu. He sensed the situation going bad and immediately used the Grand Bear Jiu in his aperture. Immediately, his hair started stiffening up like steel needles. The muscles on his whole body enlarged and he seemed to have become much taller and bulkier. Strength of 2 bears. The green vines gave creaking noises but it was still able to resist this terrifying strength, firmly confining Shang Li. Shang Li's face became very red, and he brought out all his strength to break the green vines. But finally, he was only able to snap 1 green vine and couldn't continue anymore. I lost. He released the supporting strength of Grand Bear Jiu and said while gasping. You let me win. Qingshu cupped his hands and retrieved the green vines. Senior Qingshu, you are the best. Jiu clan's Jiu masters were jubilant. Senior Qingshu really deserves his name. Big brother can't compare to him at all. Fang Zheng stood beside Qingshu and looked at the latter with reverence. Shang Li's gaze was complicated as he looked at Jiu Qingshu. He had progressed and obtained brown bear innate strength Jiu, but Qingshu had also progressed. Although he didn't know what the latter used, but this was his true rival. As for that Fang Yuan, he was only a newbie and was nothing to worry about. It really is the wood charm Jiu, Fang Yuan thought as he observed Qingshu from afar. Shang Li hadn't discovered anything when facing Jiu Qingshu. 2 emerald green leaves had grown on Jiu Qingshu's hair. This was the sign of using the wood charm Jiu. The so-called wood charm was a tree spirit. Using the wood charm Jiu could let one battle as a tree spirit. The tree spirit was an unusual creature. It could directly absorb the natural essence in the air and use it. Jiu masters couldn't do this, they could only use the primeval essence in their aperture. When one used the wood charm Jiu, they could become an embodiment of a wood charm tree spirit and would be able to directly absorb the natural essence in the air and replenish their primeval essence. It was the same as absorbing the primeval essence from primeval stones. When normal Jiu masters battle, they are unable to divide their mind and absorb primeval essence from primeval stones while fighting. But as an embodiment of the tree spirit, the absorption of natural essence is an instinct and does not need one to divide their minds. This meant that the Jiu masters who used wood charm Jiu were experts in war of attrition. Although one couldn't say that they could use the natural essence endlessly, they could fight for as much as 3 times longer because of the continuous replenishment. And once one became an embodiment of the tree spirit, Jiu worms like green vine Jiu and pine needle Jiu would also have their strength amplified. Fang Yuan instantly connected the dots. Wood charm Gu's fusion advancement can be said to be one of the most extravagant advancement routes. It is a rank 3 Jiu and needs to fuse with 100 years lifespan Jiu to advance to a rank 400 years wood charm Jiu. The 100 years wood charm Jiu needs to fuse with 1000 years lifespan Jiu to advance into a rank 5000 years wood charm Jiu. Everyone knows this fusion route, but Jiu masters rarely use this recipe. The reason is due to the preciousness of the lifespan Jiu. When the Jiu masters finds lifespan Jiu, they will usually use it directly to increase their own lifespan. In this world, a human could live for at most 100 years if they didn't encounter any accidents or illnesses. 100 years was the lifespan limit of the humans. But a lifespan Jiu can increase lifespan. 100 years lifespan Jiu can increase the lifespan of a person by 100 years and 1000 years lifespan Jiu could increase it by 1000. Lifespan Jiu were extremely rare and everyone sought after them. Fang Yuan had lived for 500 years in his previous life because he used 500-year lifespan Jiu in his previous life, thus adding 500 years to his lifespan. His 100 years lifespan had turned to 600 years. But in the end, halfway through, he was attacked by the righteous factions and had no choice but to self-detonate and die. Lifespan Jiu represented long life, and could let people live for long, but it didn't mean undying. The wood charm Jiu is powerful but has its weakness. Jiu masters can't use it for a long period. If they use it for too long, the wood charm Gu's strength will affect their body and will transform their body to that of wood, finally changing the body into a wooden corpse. In my previous life, Jiu Qingshu had died in this way. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan's eyes flashed. Ordinarily, powerful Jiu worms had huge side effects and needed to be used with other Jiu worms. Otherwise, there would be harmful influences on the Jiu master's body. Shang Yang's roaming zombie Jiu was best used with the bloodline Jiu. If not, the blood in his body would decrease when used for too long and he would change into a true zombie. The Shangli group returned to their camp. They first won against Bai Bingyi, then met defeat against Qingshu. Even so, the group still received a lot of applause and praises. Mo Yan, I challenge you. Come, Shang Jiao Man, I will fight you. After the Shangli group, the whole scene suddenly became noisy. Many Jiu masters continuously came out and challenged the powerful opponents in their minds, demonstrating their bravery. The alliance slope turned chaotic, and all kinds of brilliant and varied Jiu battles were occurring. The true Jiu battle had started. One not entirely sure how to fit this into the passage. It is an idiom, but it just means he does whatever he wants to persist in whatever he is doing no matter what others say. Chapter 127. Chapter 127, so-called Morals and Relationships. Long chapter. Only until evening did the Jiu tournament come to an end. On the alliance slope, the Jiu masters from all 3 clans were no longer as divided as earlier. Jiu masters plastered the slope and only 3 densely packed groups could be vaguely seen remaining. Jiu battle sparring was both a form of venting and also compromise. In this world where the greatest value is strength, only with strength comes respect, and that forms the basis for cooperation. After Shangli challenged Fang Yuan, no one else came to look for him. Fang Yuan was only a newbie and did not have much interactions with the other 2 clans' Jiu masters, not to mention any animosity. As for his own clansmen, they would not challenge someone from their own clan in this situation. Especially after Fang Yuan admitting defeat, it caused other Jiu masters to lose interest in him. Towards this, lazy, Cowardly opponent, what value is there in winning? Not wanting to be trampled on, there are two ways. One is to become strong until no one dares to step on you. Another is to turn into dog shit, something no one would want to step on. Fang Yuan did not care about dog shit, or the reputation of the strong. He always acted unscrupulous, and only cared about the results. Without anyone challenging him, it made his life easier. The surrounding people's contempt and disdain, he treated it like air. If he could not endure even these gazes, what right did he have to pursue the demonic way? The alliance gathering ended successfully, and Jiu clan, Bai clan, and Shang clan all reached an agreement. First, declaring the rules. The three clans will temporarily put aside their grudges and resist the wolf tied together. In times of danger, they will assist each other. At the same time, internal killing is prohibited, and an investigating battle group will be set up. Once they find any murders, the murderer will first be chased out of the clan, then the three clans will bring judgment together, making them pay with their lives. If the murderer escapes outside, their family's lives will be forfeited. Even if the Gu master dies, Gu worms retrieved from their corpses have to be given to the clan, and if it is used secretly, they will be charged with murder. After the Gu worm is submitted, they can exchange it for merit points. Secondly, setting up the battle merit board. With a small group as a unit, every moment will be showing the battle achievements of the groups from all three clans and their rankings. A lightning wolf's eyeball is exchanged for 10 merit points. Merit points can be used to exchange for Gu worms, primeval stones, and other resources. The appearance of the battle merit board naturally inspired the hot-bloodedness of the Gu masters. The result of the Gu battle sparring could not explain the true strength of both parties in actual combat. For example, in the case of Shang Zhang and Bai Bingyi, other than the water drill Gu, Bai Bingyi naturally had other attacking methods, but Shang Yang's shadow bond Gu only had an effective range of 10 meters. Furthermore, the results of any battle are swayed by many external factors. Gu battle sparring lacked a convincing element, which the battle merit board can provide as a fairer method of competition. The Gu masters from the three clans wasted no time in hunting lightning wolves, fighting for a better ranking on the battle merit board. This was not just for one's own glory, but also for the reputation of the clan. Especially the top 3 positions in the merit board, it showed intense competition. Almost every day, the top 3 would have some sort of change. Very quickly, a month passed. Winter left and spring came, causing all living beings to grow once more. After a battle, Fang Yuan stepped on the remaining snow, regulating his breathing as well as observing the battlefield around him. On the battlefield, there were over 10 lightning wolves, all dead. Wolf blood and minced corpse could be seen everywhere, and the air emanated a smell of thick blood. Howl. At this point, wolf cries could be heard from a distance not too far away. Fang Yuan's expression changed slightly. With his experience, he knew that a pack of wolves were heading this way rapidly. If it was any other Gu master, after an intense battle, without enough primeval essence in their aperture, they might have thoughts of retreating. But Fang Yuan did not care about this. He squatted down and began to gather the eyeballs from the wolf corpses. His movements were fluid and highly efficient, but even so, after he was done extracting, he was already half surrounded by the wolf pack. This was a mid-sized wolf pack with around 100 crippled wolves, their greenish wolf eyes showing a ruthless expression as they stared at Fang Yuan firmly. Fang Yuan kept the wolf eyes well before standing up with a smile. Next, his body flickered like water ripples, and he vanished on the spot. The wolf pack that had come to assault him were instantly riled up, and some of the crippled wolves stood in their tracks, showing a hesitant feeling. After all, they were wild beasts. Seeing such a magical scene, it was hard to comprehend. But, this is also because the lightning wolf king uses its wolf eyes to observe, and not its nose. Lightning wolves are fantastical creatures of this world. Their vision is sharp like an eagle, but their sense of smell is no better from humans. My stealth scales Gu counters these lightning wolves perfectly, but it cannot hide from a dog's nose. Fang Yuan was clear in his heart. Stealth scales Gu was successfully refined by him before the Gu battle tournament. It was like a fossilized carp, gray throughout, lying in Fang Yuan's primeval sea, letting the liquid essence flow around its very realistic fish scales. The fish scale Gu that Fang Yuan lacked was naturally obtained by trading the black boar Gu with Qing Shu. With this stealth scales Gu, Fang Yuan could retreat from under the lightning wolf's nose. In these few days, this situation had already occurred many times. Normally, wolves or hounds had very sensitive noses. But lightning wolves were different. They were very fast, but without clear vision, they would knock into a tree or the mountain rocks. But nature is fair, as when it bestowed the lightning wolves with its sharp vision, it also took away their sense of smell. However, the lightning crown wolf was different. Even with the stealth scales Gu, Fang Yuan could travel freely among the normal wolf tide, but in front of a myriad beast king like the lightning crown wolf, he had nowhere to hide. That is because the lightning crown wolf's eyes had the lightning eye Gu residing in it. This Gu allowed the ability to see through all sorts of cloaking. Other than the lightning eye Gu, there are actually also many other Gu worms that can detect the stealthed Fang Yuan. For example, the snake communication Gu, it can detect heat. The beast language Gu can allow a Gu master and wild beasts to converse and obtain information. The clairaudience Gu can allow a Gu master's hearing to be extremely sensitive. Thus, even with the stealth scales Gu, it did not mean Fang Yuan was completely safe, but it was at most a good life-saving trump card. When he returned to the village, it was still afternoon. The day in spring was bright and beautiful, and there were many people passing in and out of the village door. What was different from previous years was that people on the road were mostly Gu masters, while there were very little mortals. Under the influence of the wolf tide, the wilderness was not safe. Hunters did not dare to hunt in the mountains, and farms were almost abandoned. On the streets, Gu masters were high in morale, each returning with blood traces all over, or enthusiastically leaving. They were either talking about the battle merit board's ranking, or discussing their experiences in killing the lightning wolves. Some were talking about the well-performing Gu masters from the other villages. Fang Yuan was among the crowd that walked into the village, and he went to the village square in front of the family head pavilion. The square already had a stage, the merit points were exchanged here. A large amount of Gu masters gathered here, and rank 1 Gu masters were doing administrative work. Some rank 2 Gu masters squeezed around, using the blood-stained wolf eyes to exchange for merit points. There was also a portion of them that were using their merit points to exchange for primeval stones, Gu worms or food ingredients, etc. In the middle of the village square, a large banner was erected, and on it there was the written language of this world. It was constantly changing. This is the battle merit board, and on it there are over a dozen swimword Gu. Rank 1 swimword Gu, after being manipulated by rank 1 support Gu masters, can freely convert the contents of the writings on the banner. HMPH, why is the number 1 still the Bai clans by Bing Yi's group? Some stared at the battle merit board, frowning. Let me see, Bai Bing Yi is number 1, our clan's Qingshu group is number 2, and Shangli group is number 3, my group is the 137th. A Gu master counted. This time, someone suddenly said, it changed, it changed. Qingshu group is now number 1. They pushed Bai clans Bai Bing Yi to number 2. On the battle merit board, the symbol showing the second-ranking Qingshu group suddenly moved, crawling its way upwards and pulling the Bai Bing Yi group down with its hands, ascending the position of number 1 itself, even using its leg to trample around. Such a human reaction, it was naturally due to the Gu master manipulating the swimword Gu. Seeing this interesting change, the Gu masters in the village square laughed heartily, pointing a thumbs up towards Qingshu's group, praising non-stop. The rank 1 Gu master controlling the swimword Gu had a red face as he showed an expression of excitement. Lord Qingshu, you are indeed our number 1 rank 2 Gu master. Good job, Lord Qingshu. Gu Qingshu walked among the crowd, smiling faintly. Gu Fang Zheng, who was behind him, clenched both fists, following closely with an excited expression on his face. The praises from all over the square filled the young man's strong materialistic desire. This made Fang Zheng feel like he was walking on a bright path, unknowingly increasing his recognition towards the clan. Big brother, he saw Fang Yuan standing among the crowd, observing with his arms folded. Big brother, you are still alone, all by yourself. No wonder you have been at the bottom of the ranking ever since the start. Only by removing your prejudice and fusing into the masses can you feel the warmth and happiness of the clan. Fang Zheng sighed, feeling that Fang Yuan was somewhat pitiful and pathetic. People who were like Fang Yuan, always fighting alone without any companions, could not feel any kinship from the clan or friendship forged from fighting together with your teammates. Facing everything alone is not only dangerous, but mundane. A person living without friendship, love or kinship, what is the meaning of being alive? Fang Yuan stood among the crowd, staring at the tall merit board. Without doubt, the last position on the ranking was written in large letters, Fang Yuan Group. Other Gu masters upon seeing this, felt extremely shameful, but Fang Yuan's gaze was calm, not minding it one bit. After being promoted to group leader, he had never recruited any members. He was a loner group leader, the most special group in the entire Qingmao Mountains 3 clans. With only him alone, of course his daily hunting results could not compare to other groups. Of course, with Fang Yuan's current abilities, if he tried hard he would definitely not be last place. But this was pointless to Fang Yuan. He did not need much merit points, living resources or GU worms food, he had stock for everything. He had planned to exchange for a fish scales GU earlier, but now he no longer needed to. Right now he was hunting lightning wolves daily just to put on a show to fulfill the quota, and secondly accumulate some merit points to exchange for moon orchid petals. After all, his Moonglow GU needed this food. Half a month soon passed, and the spring atmosphere intensified. Trees started to grow leaves, and wildflowers on the roadside bloomed. Under the warm spring winds, GU masters sang in battle, and the battle situation was getting better and better. Fang Yuan walked on the pavement, seeing everyone's happy faces, their exchanges of praise like courageous acts and the likes. Of course, there were also some GU masters who were in deep worry, showing an unhappy expression. These GU masters were mostly the elderly, as with their rich life experiences, they knew that the real wolf tide was coming in summer and autumn. Fang Yuan realized in his heart, what caused this current situation is due to the 3-clan alliance, thus people have reduced their caution of each other, and this enabled GU masters to be more invested in resisting the wolf tide. Secondly, the lightning wolves exterminated were only the crippled wolves. Thirdly, with the coming of spring, many wolves are busy mating. When summer comes, the truly energetic and healthy wolves would attack from all directions, causing great damage and deaths to the 3 clans. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan's eyes shone with cold light. In this year's wolf tide, the intensity was like never before, it reached a danger level that was unforeseen. Even the clan higher-ups greatly underestimated the severity of this wolf tide. In his memory, most of the GU masters died, and the trump cards of the 3 clans were nearly fully expended. Fang Yuan had never thought of warning the higher-ups. One is that even if he did, they might not listen to his suggestion, and even emphasize on where he got the information, which he is unable to explain. Secondly, there was no point in telling them, it is a fundamental difference in strength. Thirdly, and the most crucial reason, warning the clan did not fit his biggest interest. I would rather let the world down, than be let down by the world. What kinship, friendship, love, these are but an ornament in life, how can they compare to a man's great ambition? On earth, Shang Yu wanted to cook Liu Bang's father, and the Han dynasty ancestor Liu Bang even laughed and said, "Go ahead, don't forget to give me a piece of meat." Tang dynasty Li Shiming killing his brothers, Cao Cao's army having no rations and cooking people to turn them into dried meat as food. Liu Bei borrowing Jingzhou but never returning. The higher-ups praise the values and morals, but those are just tools to maintain their rule. If one is restrained by these, how can they achieve anything? Those who step into upper society, who does not have blood-stained hands, stepping on corpses along the way. A capitalist's initial startup fund, the process is always bloody. Any politician's hands are dirty, and the so-called philanthropists are merely using money to gain recognition in society. It is just that the successful are apt in hiding their past acts, and those who believe the stories of the successors are truly fools. These fools are everywhere, restrained by emotions and morals, they deserve to be stupidly manipulated by rules. What's sadder is that when they see others not being restrained, they would jump out and criticize, trying to impart these morals to the people, not allowing others to have more freedom than them. In this process, they would even enjoy this ridiculous moral superiority and bliss. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan looked at the GU masters walking past him. These people, they had a body full of abilities, and some even had higher cultivation than him, but for what? They are just pawns, merely restrained dogs. What truly stalls a person's success is not talent, but mindset. Any organization, once a person is born, would impart their morals and rules, constantly brainwashing. Those that want to surpass humanity's achievements have to break this restraint on their mindset. Sadly, most people are trapped by this their entire lives, using this to move forward with motivation and even use their chained collar as a symbol of pride. Thinking so, Fang Yuan laughed coldly. Walking out of the village door, he retracted his thoughts. There was something important today, he was preparing to enter the rock crack's secret cave again. Chapter 128. Chapter 128. If not for the harshness of the winter, how could we look forward to spring? A faint red glow pervaded the stone forest, the petrified growths sprouting out from the ceiling towards the ground like upside-down trees. It was a sight to see. It has been over a month since I last came here. Fang Yuan thought helplessly. After the three clans united, they had commenced a crusade to continuously eliminate the surrounding wolf packs. Because of the constant traffic for the war effort, GU masters made up an almost ever-present flow moving nearby the stone-cracked cave. In such a situation, even if Fang Yuan possessed stealth scales GU, there was a danger of exposing himself. Despite the risk, Fang Yuan was very careful in the way he did things. 500 years worth of life experience had nurtured enough patience in him. He kept rein over his desires and made sure not to make movements around the stone cave during this period. When spring came, the crippled wolves had been successfully rooted out and there were few GU masters left roaming around. Only then was he willing and Fang Yuan circled around the village before using the stealth scales GU to come back. A month had passed by, allowing some stone monkey groups to repopulate and they had moved to the stone pillars he had cleared before. Fortunately, the number were quite few. Fang Yuan spent some time killing the monkey groups and advancing towards the central area of the stone forest. Under the shadow of the huge stone pillar, an obvious artificial cave entrance appeared before his eyes. Some crude rock stairs extended downwards from the cave mouth into the darkness. Fang Yuan used the white jade GU to cover his whole body with a layer of faint jade light and carefully descended down the stairs. His left hand held a fire torch, whereas bright moonlight shone on his right palm. The moonglow GU was already activated. It was completely dark underground and even the fire torch could only illuminate 5 steps ahead. An illumination type GU would be a lot helpful in such situations. Unfortunately Fang Yuan was not so affluent. Step by step, he walked on for a long while before reaching the end of the stairs. A crude artificial stone door was in front of him. Golden Centipede's cave is precarious, earth communication is the way to avoid the disaster. Fang Yuan lifted his fire torch which illuminated some characters carved on the stone door. Earth communication, Golden Centipede. Fang Yuan's eyes gleamed, comprehending the meaning. If this is what I think it is, he crouched down and touched the ground, the soil was wet. There's something. He was happy. He began to dig the soil and indeed, he found an earth treasury flower. He carefully uncovered the petals and took out a GU worm from the heart of the flower. This was a special GU. It resembled a human ear, but much smaller. It was yellowish-brown, and looked shriveled and dull. He felt it in his palm. It was shriveled like marinated radish and carried some warmth. Dozens of roots like the ginseng roots grew out from its sides. This was a rank 2 grass GU, Earth Communication Ear Grass. Looking at the Earth Communication Ear Grass, Fang Yuan's gaze flashed. This Earth Communication Ear Grass's usage was to scout. It had appeared in a great time and was perfect for Fang Yuan. Earth Communication Ear Grass had a great advantage, it could scout up to 300 paces. This range was among the best of rank 2 investigative GU worms. It was easy to feed too. Its food was the ginseng roots. There were many forested mountains in the southern border. There were far more ginsengs here than in Earth. Hunter families would occasionally pick some when they went to hunt in the mountains. Especially when ginseng is easy to store, as long as it is completely dried and sealed up properly, it could be kept for a long time under room temperature. Moon orchid petals wilted in a few days, but ginseng could be stored for a long time. GU worms need to be nurtured, used and refined. These 3 aspects are broad and has many mysteries within them. Earth Communication Ear Grass is easy to nurture, but using it is rather troublesome, Fang Yuan pondered. He held the Earth Communication Ear Grass and poured primeval essence, instantly refining it. Earth Communication Ear Grass was very outstanding and could compare with many rank 3 investigative GU worms. However, heaven was fair, and using the Earth Communication Ear Grass didn't end with just refining, it still needed a certain price. Just like the zombie GU and wood charm GU which needed to be used with other GU worms, there was a consequence. If used for a long time, the GU master's body would slowly corrode and turn into a true zombie or tree man. Many GU worms can't be used by merely refining them, they still need some special prerequisites. This Earth Communication Flesh Ear GU is also the same. By using it to ascertain the situation, I can truly move about freely in the wolf tide and even achieve some of my goals during this wolf tide. Fang Yuan pondered for a while and decided to use this Earth Communication Flesh Ear GU. As the gains would be greater than losses, even if he had to pay the price, it was nothing for the sake of his future. No matter which world, how could one gain anything without paying a price? Fang Yuan coldly smiled and put the Earth Communication Ear Grass in his aperture. He gazed at the stone door deeply then turned around and left. If he didn't guess wrong, there would be a great danger in the other side of the stone door. Only by using the Earth Communication Ear Grass could he be able to avoid it. Fang Yuan exited the secret cave and leisurely circled the village. After making several rounds, hunting several lone wolves and taking their eyeballs, he returned. He was still the last in the battle merit board. As he walked through the street, the GU masters who recognized him laughed at him or threw a contemptuous look. Fang Yuan didn't care and still went his own way. After several days, he used small battle merits to exchange for ginseng roots, properly feeding the earth communication ear grass and recovering its vitality. Most of the clan's attention was on the wolf tide. No one paid attention to Fang Yuan. If it was before, uncle and aunt might have brought him some troubles, but they had made no more movements ever since Fang Yuan sold the family assets to them. Difficult to do openly, easy to do secretly. Soon, Fang Yuan smoothly completed some preparations in the dark. Tonight, the moon was bright and stars were few. The moon hung high above like a jade plate and the gentle darkness of the night was like a yarn, covering Qingmao Mountain. From time to time, wolf howls could be faintly heard from afar. Fang Yuan securely closed the door and windows. He stood inside his rented room, his whole body naked. There was a table in front of him and a basin filled with warm water was laid on it. Beside the wash basin was a white towel and a sharp dagger on top. Even the floor he was standing on was covered with a layer of thick cloth. Strands of moonlight passed through the cracks in the windows and shone upon the table. Fang Yuan's expression was indifferent as he grabbed the dagger. The dagger was sharp and had a cold shine to it. It could even be used as a mirror. Under the faint light, the young man's indifferent face was reflected on the dagger. Right now, Fang Yuan couldn't help but think of a martial arts skill book from Earth called the Less Than Sacred Sunflower Scroll Greater Than. The first sentence in the first page of Less Than Sacred Sunflower Scroll Greater Than was, castrate yourself to train this skill. One needed to give up or pay something if they wanted to receive quick strength. So what if you needed to castrate yourself? If you don't have such ruthless decisiveness and aren't willing to let go, how could you accomplish your ambitions and become a lord ruling over everything? Wanting to receive without paying anything was only fairy tales to deceive children. Back to Fang Yuan's current state, to use this earth communication ear grass, the price he needed to pay couldn't amount to anything. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan coldly smiled. He used his fingers to lightly caress the cold blade and softly hummed. Moon like the frost-filled night, the dagger shines with a cold light. If not for the harshness of the winter, how could we look forward to spring? He quickly moved his hand. The hand rose and the dagger fell, blood burst out. A piece of flesh fell on the table. Fang Yuan had cut apart his whole right ear and blood was spurting out of it. He first felt a little cool before an intense burst of pain suddenly attacked him. He gritted his teeth and sucked in breath through his teeth. He resisted the pain and called out earth communication ear grass from his aperture. He had nurtured this earth communication ear grass back to its full vitality. It was now completely different from how it looked back when he just got it. Back when he had taken it out of the earth treasury flower, it was shriveled and dull. Now, it was plump and warm, fat and big and had grown up to an adult palm size. It was highly elastic and resembled the Buddha's drooping ear of earth. Fang Yuan pressed the earth communication flesh ear GU on his wound at the right side of his head and immediately poured red steel primeval essence towards it. The earth communication flesh ear Gu's roots immediately came to life and rapidly began to grow, taking root in Fang Yuan's wound. Another burst of pain came. Fang Yuan felt like dozens of earthworms were drilling towards his brain from his wound. This feeling was painful and also nauseating. Generally speaking, GU masters would use some GU worms to numb their nerves in this stage. But Fang Yuan wasn't in that situation and could only rely on his iron willpower to forcefully endure it. In the end, his body was that of a youth's, and Fang Yuan who endured this pain couldn't help but feel his body starting to sway. More and more roots extended, entered his wound. Slowly, the earth communication ear grass glued together with the bloody wound, becoming Fang Yuan's new right ear. Finally, there was no more blood flowing out of the wound, there wasn't even a scar. However, Fang Yuan's face was pale, the pain had only slightly decreased, it was still tormenting him. Veins bulged out from his head and his heart thumped rapidly. At this stage, Fang Yuan was already finished for the most part, but some time was still necessary for his body to adapt to the earth communication ear grass. He picked up a mirror and looked at it under the faint moonlight. He saw his pale face and frowning brows in the mirror. His right ear was bigger than his left by over 2 times and looked like a deformity. Fang Yuan didn't mind it. After looking at the mirror for a moment and seeing no problems, he felt satisfied. He put the mirror down and picked up the towel. He dipped the towel in the warm water in the basin and wiped the bloodstains on his body. He had no clothes on, so it was very easy to clean the bloodstains. Some blood had flowed down his foot but were absorbed by the cotton cloth spread on the floor. Fang Yuan cleaned the bloodstains, then picked up his right ear from the table. He coldly snorted, then used the Moonglow Gu, slicing his own right ear into meat paste and completely destroying it. Fang Yuan held the basin filled with the watery blood and put it under the bed before throwing a piece of coal in it. Only after doing all this did Fang Yuan lay down on the bed. The pain had weakened for the most part but was still tormenting him. Fang Yuan felt the pain in his head along with his heartbeat. He did not know how much time had passed, but he finally fell into a deep sleep. Chapter 129. Chapter 129, Chainsaw Golden Centipede. When Fang Yuan woke up, it was already noon of the second day. His headache was gone, and the intense pain had vanished completely. He touched his ear subconsciously, the sense of touch no different from before. It was as if the cutting of his ear never happened last night. He climbed down from his bed, finding a mirror to look at himself. In the mirror, a young man's face was shown. He was not handsome, but his dark abyss-like iris made him stand out from mortals, showing a special unique coolness and charisma. The young man's ears were the same as any others. Last night, when he planted the earth communication ear grass, Fang Yuan's right ear was plump and big, his ear drooping till it nearly reached his chin. But now it was completely normal from appearance, there was nothing different. This is because his body and the earth communication ear grass had gotten used to each other. Fang Yuan's thought moved, and from his aperture a little red steel primeval essence flowed along his body, moving up towards his right ear. At once, his hearing improved multiple times, and numerous footsteps could be heard. Although he was on the second floor, he had a feeling of stepping on earth. Fang Yuan paid attention and listened as his primeval essence continued to be used, and his hearing improved as well. In the mirror, roots started to grow out of his ear. These roots were like the roots of 1,000-year ginseng, extending from his ear towards the outside, constantly growing longer and moving towards the ground. At the same time, his right ear had the notion of becoming fatter. Fang Yuan stopped using the earth communication ear grass, and a second later, the roots growing out of his ears retracted, and his right ear became normal again. Of course, his hearing also went back to its initial state. This way, I have a recon type GU. Fang Yuan wore his upper shirt, taking out a water basin from under his bed. Last night, the bloody water had turned into blackish dirty water due to the charcoal tossed in. The bloody towel submerged within was the same as well. There was still some white in the red color initially, but now it was all covered by the black soot. It was easy to make people assume that it was a cloth for wiping grease in the kitchen. This basin, when brought out, even if it was poured in front of someone, nobody would notice. Summer was coming, and many clansmen were trying to clean the stove that they used in winter. Often they would end up with a basin of dirty water just like this. While the iron was still hot, Fang Yuan entered the rock crack secret cave again. This time, he did not enter empty-handed, but caught a deerling outside and tied its forelimbs together. He used a steel contraption to bind its mouth, and then used the stealth scales GU to hide his presence and brought it to the rock door. He did not open the door in a hurry, but activated the earth communication ear grass. The roots extended from his ear, and his hearing ability amplified. Dong dong dong. Firstly, he heard a light sound, the sound of slow heartbeat. As the roots grew longer, the heartbeat became louder, and the sources of sound also increased. Fang Yuan did not need to think to realize that these heartbeats were coming from the jade eye stone monkeys in the rock forest. He shut his eye and he could imagine in his head, the owners of these sounds hiding in their caves, curling into a ball and sleeping. But this was not what he wanted to find out. He continued listening, his right ear already becoming slightly fat, the ginseng limbs growing out of his ear almost half a meter long, the roots having sentience. They extended to the rock door, and stabbed in rather shallowly. At this moment, Fang Yuan felt that his hearing had a gigantic boost. With him as center, he could hear the numerous noises of a 300-step radius. This was the earth communication ear grass. True usage, what he did in the village was merely a test. If the earth communication ear grass roots did not touch the ground, for a rank 2 recon GU, it was at a very average level. But once the roots are in the ground, its range would drastically improve. This was understandable. On Earth, the theory was that sound travels at a speed related to its intermediary. Sound in the earth or in water, the speed of transmission was far greater than through air. In ancient China, some soldiers in war when sleeping, would use a wooden quiver as their pillow. Once any cavalry attacks, the soldiers would hear the noise from the earth and be awakened in time. If they waited for sound to travel by air, they would not have time to react. The roots grew into the rock door, and Fang Yuan could instantly hear the commotion behind it. It was a very scrambled and confusing noise, but very frequent. Compared to this noise, the stone monkey's heartbeat was like the sound of drums. If a newbie was using this earth communication ear grass for the first time, upon hearing this they would be thinking of all the possible guesses. But to Fang Yuan, this noise was expected, and he only listened for a while before frowning. He pushed open the rock door. The rock door was heavy, but with his strength of 2 bores now, it was easy. The rock door opened, and a dark long tunnel appeared in front of him, stretching on at a straight line, towards the unknown. Fang Yuan untied the deer he had caught, and tossed it into the tunnel. The deerling was very smart. Sensing the dangers of the dark path ahead, it did not dare to move forward. Its huge eyes stared at Fang Yuan, showing fear and a begging intention. Fang Yuan snorted and threw a moonblade. This moonblade was controlled to be small, slicing vertically and inflicting a light wound on the deerling's body. The blood gushed out from its wound, and under the pain, the deerling's fear towards Fang Yuan won and it rushed into the dark tunnel. Darkness soon engulfed it. Fang Yuan activated the earth communication ear grass again, this time the roots grew into the walls. His hearing amplified, and first he heard the deerling's footsteps, its heartbeat, and some other noise. Golden Centipede's cave is precarious, earth communication is the way to avoid the disaster. Fang Yuan knew in his heart that these noises were the movement sound of a centipede. In his ear, he could hear the deerling's cries. Evidently, it had gone into the cave and met the centipede. Fang Yuan could see the image in his mind, the flustered deerling attacked by a centipede swarm, completely engulfing it. The deerling turns around in fright, and as it kicks its young hooves it felt the sense of death approaching and gave cries for help. Uncountable number of centipedes climbed onto its body, and the deer laid on the ground, rolling and struggling. Only after a while later, its heartbeat stopped. The centipede army started to consume the deerling meat on its body. Fang Yuan's gaze shone as he heard a special sound. This sound was like a buzzing, like the turning on of a chainsaw. It was full of arrogance, dominance, and wildness. If a newbie heard this, they would be confused. But with Fang Yuan's experience, he could guess the identity of this sound at once. Rank 3 Wild GU Worm, Chainsaw Golden Centipede. This was the Worm King in the centipedes, the true killer in the centipede cave. Fang Yuan could completely imagine, a meter over in length, the breadth of 2 fists, coiling and slithering around the cave. On the 2 sides of its body, there is a row of sharp saw-like teeth. As it moved, the chainsaws also moved around rapidly, just like an electric chainsaw. The chainsaw golden centipede's arrival caused the centipede army to quieten. It came ferociously, and wherever it went, the centipedes gave way, showing the half-body remains of the deerling. It climbed to the deerling's body, opening its mouth and consuming the deer blood and deer meat, and when it got to the bones, it coiled its body up and used the chainsaws to lightly grind against the bones, turning it into powder easily. Even the white jade goose defense cannot endure this chainsaw golden centipede's attack. It seems that the flower wine monk's intention is to make me use this earth communication ear grass and avoid the centipede. But I have the spring autumn cicada, so to subdue this chainsaw golden centipede, it is not impossible. Fang Yuan had a thought in his head. He was overjoyed at this prey. The chainsaw golden centipede was an outstanding GU worm. If it was his to use, it would be another strong method of attack. Only that, in order to subdue this chainsaw golden centipede, even a rank 4 GU master would have to expend a lot of effort. Catching and killing are 2 things, the former is way harder than the latter. Wild GU worms were all crafty, and if the chainsaw golden centipede saw something amiss, it would burrow into the ground and escape. If a GU master did not have a burrowing method, how can he give chase? But Fang Yuan had the spring autumn cicada, thus as long as he caught this chainsaw golden centipede and released a hint of the spring autumn cicada's aura, he would make the GU worm cower and not dare to move. Spring autumn cicada was a rank 6, its aura was extremely powerful against rank 1 to rank 4 GU worms. But against rank 5, it had less effect, and towards other rank 6, there was no deterrence force in it. This phenomenon is very interesting, but actually human society is just the same. Towards someone outstanding, people would envy, worship and admire. But to someone who is only slightly better performing, they would dare to offend, and was mostly competition and jealousy. I am only at rank 2 middle stage now, hence to subdue this rank 3 chainsaw golden centipede, it is possible but still too early. Fang Yuan assessed. Rank 2 GU masters should use rank 2 GU worms, which is the most appropriate and most useful. Of course, rank 2 GU masters can also own rank 3 or even rank 4 GU worms. But this was not common. Firstly, the higher rank the GU worm, the more expensive it is to feed it. Secondly, they become harder to use and require more cost when activating. Like a baby trying to wield a large hammer, if it forcefully tried to, it might pull a muscle due to the hammer's weight and smash its own leg. The deerling has already alerted the entire colony. It would take 10 days to half a month for these centipedes to calm down. After my testing, the thought in my heart has been affirmed, but I have no chance to strike yet. Why don't I slow down and give it some time? This matter cannot be rushed. Fang Yuan left his thoughts here and closed the rock door again. He then left using the stealth scales GU. Chapter 130. Chapter 130. Clansmen are still more reliable. Dark clouds covered the sky, casting shadows over the entire Qingmao mountain, seemingly signifying the coming of a storm. On a remote mountainside, a dozen robust lightning wolves drew back the corners of their mouth and made low roars. They had surrounded Fang Yuan. These wolves had a healthy body and were not like the crippled wolves. Any other rank 2 GU master would be desperate if they were caught in such besiegement, alone. However, the situation was quite opposite right now. Fang Yuan was standing on the spot, his expression calm. Instead, these lightning wolves that were surrounding him were slightly nervous and afraid. The battle had already continued for a while and the ground was soaked with blood. Several lightning wolves had collapsed on the ground, and the silence showed Fang Yuan's battle accomplishments. Kill! Fang Yuan shouted inwardly. He took the initiative to attack even though he was the one surrounded. His foot pushed the ground as he pounced towards a lightning wolf on his left side. This lightning wolf immediately shrunk back a small step in fear, but then its vicious personality was stimulated. It made a powerful jump and attacked Fang Yuan. It opened its mouth in the air, revealing the many sharp wolf teeth that filled its mouth. Fang Yuan laughed loudly. He didn't evade but just swung his right arm. Whoosh! An eerie blue moonblade flew horizontally through the air and struck the lightning wolf's open mouth. There was only a ripping noise. This unfortunate lightning wolf was instantly cut apart into two, from its mouth to tail, by this moonblade. Boiling blood spurted out and poured like a rain of blood. Fang Yuan's whole body flashed with white jade light as he charged through the blood rain and rampaged within the wolf pack. The lightning wolves reacted. They attacked him from all sides. They opened their mouths and tore at him but were blocked by the white jade goo's defense, causing their own teeth to be broken. Their claws were also of no use. Fang Yuan punched and kicked, and the lightning wolves were sent flying under his enormous strength of 2 boars. Some lightning wolves had their skulls directly smashed and died on the spot. Fang Yuan grasped the upper hand in this battle. But good things don't last forever, for his primeval essence was being used quickly. Fang Yuan's aptitude was only C grade and his cultivation was at rank 2 middle stage currently. The primeval essence in his aperture was not even 50%. He looked at his declining primeval essence, but there were still several lightning wolves remaining. He had no choice but to use stealth scales GU. His body gradually disappeared like the ripples in the water. In a blink of an eye, there was no more trace of him. The lightning wolves were at their wits' end, and they gave off furious howls and started searing the area but didn't find anything. Fang Yuan had not gone far. He gazed at the lightning wolves' movements while absorbing primeval stones to recover his primeval essence and also maintaining the concealment of the stealth scales GU at the same time. Lightning wolves had extraordinary eyesight but their sense of smell were not sharp. The stealth scales GU just so happened to be their bane. When Fang Yuan's primeval essence recovered to 30%, the lightning wolf pack finally retreated unwillingly. Fang Yuan didn't have a movement GU worm, so if the lightning wolves really retreated, he would definitely not be able to catch up to them with his speed. Thus, he removed the concealment of the stealth scales GU and became visible. Ho! The lightning wolves saw Fang Yuan and as if he had killed their fathers, they rushed at him. Fang Yuan sneered. He waited till the lightning wolves were in front of him, then he suddenly struck with his right hand. His right fist was covered with a layer of faint white jade light which was extremely hard. The punch ferociously struck a lightning wolf's lower back. Crack! A crisp sound was heard immediately and this unlucky lightning wolf was sent flying by Fang Yuan, its lower back fractured. It fell on the ground and crazily struggled while letting out miserable howls, but it could no longer get up. Fang Yuan had recovered sufficient primeval essence and with his formidable fighting strength, he killed 4 more lightning wolves in a few moments. The remaining several lightning wolves lost their fighting spirit and looked at Fang Yuan with fear. They whimpered and then tucked their tails and escaped. Fang Yuan didn't chase after them. He couldn't compare to these lightning wolves in speed, chasing was pointless. The ground was filled with wolf corpses and they were all Fang Yuan's spoils of war. But Fang Yuan was cautious. he didn't hurry to take out the lightning wolf's eyeballs. Earth communication ear grass. He got down on his hands, his right ear close to the earth. Roots grew out from the ear and pierced the soil. His hearing strength amplified instantly, he could scout anything within a 300-step radius. Many sounds entered his ear, but there were no sounds of wolf packs or the sounds of other GU masters moving about. It is safe for the moment. Fang Yuan let out a breath of relief. He took out a dagger and began to dig out the eyeballs of the lightning wolves. He only handed over a small part of these eyeballs and hid the rest. If he handed all of them, it would no doubt attract suspicions and even result to secret investigations. Fang Yuan wanted to prevent such inconveniences as much as possible. Fang Yuan immediately left after digging out all the eyeballs of these lightning wolves. When he had killed 2 more wolf packs like this, the sky was already covered with thick dark clouds. Strong wind blew, blowing through the pine forests, creating a green wave in the mountain along with the rustling of the leaves. Howl! Faint howls of large numbers of lightning wolves echoed within the wind. Fang Yuan's expression slightly paled. According to his previous life's memories, today was the day the wolf tide truly broke out. He used the earth communication ear grass again but didn't hear the rapid advancement of the lightning wolves. He wasn't surprised, but instead became calm. This meant that there was at least over a 300-step gap away between him and the lightning wolves. This distance along with his own speed and the knowledge of the topography, sufficed to let him reach the village safely. These lightning wolves are cunning, choosing to attack in such weather. The noise from the strong wind and the sounds from the pine forest will mask their movements to a great degree. Fang Yuan sighed inwardly, then ran towards the village with his greatest speed. After running for hundreds of meters, he bumped into a 5-person GU master group. Hey, you are GU Fang Yuan. A young GU master in the group raised his eyebrows when he saw Fang Yuan and greeted him in an odd way. This GU master was GU Peng, Fang Yuan's classmate. During the academy period, he had suffered from Fang Yuan's bullying and extortion. Fang Yuan indifferently glanced at him before brushing past him without pausing, not giving him a chance to speak again. Bastard! GU Peng was stunned, then a stifled feeling rose up in his heart and his speed slowed down. He didn't get the chance to ridicule Fang Yuan. Little Peng, don't slow down, we need to hunt at least 50 lightning wolves today to preserve our rank in the battle merit board. The group leader spoke. GU Peng immediately restrained his furious expression and quickly followed the group members. My group is ranked 75 in the battle merit board. That Fang Yuan is ranked at beyond 200. This difference is like that of heaven and earth. I am also quite fortunate to have such a caring senior as the group leader. From the start of the wolf tide till now, I have exchanged part of the battle merits to get a GU worm. My future is bright, how could Fang Yuan compare to me? GU Peng calmed down a lot when he thought of this, even feeling blessed at that. In this world, what can one accomplish by fighting alone? Many hands make light work, unity is the greater power. It is still the clansmen that are reliable. Borrowing the clan's strength, we newbies can safely grow up. That Fang Yuan is an idiot, he really thinks he is a hero. He resolved the problem of the rank 5 river swallowing toad only by luck and he is putting on airs. Although he has become a group leader, he hasn't recruited any group members, serves him right to be ranked last. Haha, anyway, with his eccentric personality, how will he recruit any group members? GU Peng's movement became more relaxed. Strangely, all along the way, they hadn't run into any wolf packs. GU Peng raised his head to look at the sky. It was afternoon but the sky was already dusky as if it was evening. The wind blew, and the dark clouds densely covered the sky and moved rapidly, brewing thunder and rainstorm. However, GU Peng was not afraid, a mocking smile appearing on his mouth as he thought, ha ha ha, so Fang Yuan was hurriedly rushing back because he was worried of this rainstorm. What a coward, what is there to be afraid of a rainstorm? Right at this time, the group leader's face suddenly paled, he opened his mouth and sucked in a deep breath. Sir Group Leader, what happened? Other 4 members naturally noticed this. In this GU Master group, the group leader was in charge of scouting. Although he was also a rank 2 GU Master, his scouting GU worm didn't have as great a radius as Fang Yuan's earth communication ear grass. His face was deathly white right now and he had no wish to give detailed explanation. Run, quick, he shouted with terror and amidst other group members' astonished gazes, he turned around and ran. Follow the group leader. Other group members were not foolish, they quickly reacted and broke into a run. Howl! Wolf howls came from behind them continuously. From these noises, they knew there was more than 1,000 lightning wolves. Everyone in the group was pale, they breathed heavily and used all their strength to run. Wait for me. Ji Yu Kung sprinted with all he had but was still the last. He lost his composure and started screaming for help. He felt the breathing sounds of the lightning wolves behind his back. But what made him despair was the group leader, who normally showed great consideration to him, didn't even turn his head back. The teammates who used to pat their chests and speak of brotherhood and sentiments ignored his shouts. Hou! Ji Yu Kung suddenly heard a wolf howl right next to him. In the next moment, he felt an enormous force pressed on his back and knocking him down. He tumbled on the ground. The fall had made him dizzy. He subconsciously turned around to try to resist. Boom! A lightning snake flashed through the air. In the darkness, a bold lightning wolf's figure immediately became visible. Its body was twice the size of a normal lightning wolf, the hair in its body erect. It opened its mouth and revealed its silver-white sharp fangs. Ji Yu Kung's pupils shrank to a needle size, a thought echoing within his mind, 100 Beast King. The wolf pack's scale in the wolf nest was enormous. Not only were there 3 myriad Beast King level Thunder Crown wolves, there were also 100 Beast King level Bold Lightning wolves and 1000 Beast King level Frenzy Lightning wolves. In the very next second, the Bold Lightning wolf opened its mouth and with a crack sound, Ji Yu Kung's whole head was gnawed off. Fresh blood and brain matter splashed. The Bold Lightning wolf lowered its head and began to swallow the blood from Ji Yu Kung's neck and gnawed at his fatty meat. Countless lightning wolves came from behind it and rushed ahead. Rumbling sounds continued incessantly. Pitter-patter, heavy rain also started pouring. The true wolf tide had begun. Chapter 131. Chapter 131. Loneliness is the deepest darkness. The rain poured heavily from above, and snake-like lightning danced in the sky randomly. This sustained for the entire night. Fang Yuan lay on his bed, hearing the shouting of Ji Yu masters outside his house and the sound of their footsteps in the rain. He squinted his eyes, visions of his past life flashing in his head again. In his previous life, when the wolf tide attacked, he was still a rank 1 GU master, and being part of the support group, he hid within the village and managed to escape the disastrous fate. But this time, he was already a rank 2 middle stage, and he had the 4-flavor liquor worm, currently moving towards upper stage. Thus, he had to be like other GU masters, resisting the wolf tide in such a dark night. The rain is pouring outside, and they still have to fight the large amount of lightning wolves in this poor vision. This is truly torture, Fang Yuan snorted in his heart. He did not sleep in the rented apartment, but instead he was at the inn. If Fang Yuan was at the rented house, he would definitely be forced to participate. The clan higher-ups have definitely underestimated this wolf tide's severity. The correct method would be to hide in the village and defend to the end. Unfortunately, they are blinded by past experiences. Fang Yuan flipped around in his bed while thinking about this. Outside the window, the rain splattered all over the place. It was definitely a storm. Sounds of thunder constantly entered his ears. On the streets, GU masters hurriedly moved about, the sounds of their footsteps and furious bellows never having a pause. At once, the cries of the wolves reached the village. This was destined to be a sleepless night. Whether it was the GU masters who were risking their lives fighting, or the mortals hiding in the village shivering, or even Fang Yuan. After sleeping until the midnight hour, they naturally awoke. He did not get up, but opened his eyes in the darkness while lying on his bed. The sounds outside the window entered his ears. People's life and death battles, he could imagine, along with the thunderstorm outside the village. GU masters and wolf packs formed an extraordinarily lively stage. No matter which character, they were displaying the essence of life. Life was like a show. This was a good show. But Fang Yuan had no intentions of joining the act. On the contrary, he felt a sense of unexplainable loneliness. A loneliness with boundary. This was not because he was a transmigrator, reincarnator, or the fact that he carried an unspeakable secret. But because everyone was born lonely. Humans are like isolated islands, floating in the sea of fate. Human encounters are like the collision of these loneliness islands, and once they touch, there would be an effect. Sometimes, the islands would stick together, in the name of interest, kinship, friendship, love, and hate. But eventually, they would separate, walking towards the path of destruction. This is the truth behind life. Unfortunately, people are always afraid of being alone. They crave the liveliness of human crowd, and they refuse to do nothing with their time. Because once they face loneliness, it meant facing pain and hardship. But once they can face this pain, people would obtain talent and courage. Thus, there is a saying, high achievers are definitely lonely. This is the feeling of being lonely. Every time I savor this, it strengthens my resolve to pursue the demonic way. Fang Yuan's gaze shone, thinking of the story of Ren Zhu. Legend says, Ren Zhu had obtained the attitude Gu. Attitude Gu was like a mask, and without a heart Ren Zhu couldn't wear it. Because before this, Ren Zhu had given his heart to the Hope Gu, and from then on he never feared difficulty. But if Ren Zhu wanted to use the attitude Gu, he needed to have a heart. Ren Zhu was troubled, thus he asked attitude Gu. He said, "Oh Gu, sometimes attitude says it's all. Now that I have encountered a problem, you know it, thus I'm here to seek advice." Attitude Gu said, "This is not hard. Ren Zhu, you lack a heart, thus you just have to find a new one." Ren Zhu was confused, asking again, "Then how can I find a new heart?" Attitude Gu sighed, "Heart is nowhere and everywhere. Finding a heart, it is both easy and difficult. With your situation, you can obtain a heart now." Ren Zhu was overjoyed, "Quick, tell me, how?" Attitude Gu warned him, "This heart is called loneliness. Human, are you sure you want it? Once you obtain it, you will face endless pain, loneliness and even fear." Ren Zhu did not listen to his warning, he continued asking. Attitude Gu could not defy Ren Zhu's orders, thus he said, "You only have to stare at the sky on a starry night, and say nothing. Once you reach daylight, you will obtain the heart of loneliness." That night, it was a star-filled sky. According to Attitude Gu's instructions, Ren Zhu sat alone at the mountain peak, staring at the night sky. Before this, his life was very difficult, constantly struggling for survival, he had no time to admire this beautiful yet mysterious sky. But now, as he stared at the starry sky, his thoughts began floating. Constantly thinking about himself, such a meager and weak being like himself, living a life of constant fear and insecurity. Sigh, although I have hope Gu, strength Gu, rules and regulation Gu, and attitude Gu, to survive in this land, it is still difficult as ever. Even if I die tomorrow, it is not shocking. If I die, will the world remember me? Will anyone rejoice over my existence, and grieve over my death? Thinking of this, Ren Zhu shook his head. In this world, he was the only human, how can there be others? Even with Gu accompanying him, he still felt a strong sense of loneliness, heart of loneliness. At this moment, when Ren Zhu felt lonely, his body suddenly had a brand new heart. The sun rose from the horizon, and shone on his face. But Ren Zhu felt no happiness, and instead felt an endless pain, despair, confusion and even fear. He could not endure this loneliness and fear, for all he felt was the advent of darkness and apocalypse. Thus, he painfully cried, stretching out his fingers and digging out his eyes. His left eye fell onto the ground and transformed into a young man. He had golden hair and a strong body. Once he appeared, he kneeled at Ren Zhu's feet, saying, "O Ren Zhu, my father, I am your eldest son, verdant great son." At the same time, his right eye turned into a young girl, and she held Ren Zhu's hand, saying, "O Ren Zhu, my father, I am your second daughter, desolate ancient moon." Ren Zhu laughed loudly, tears flowing out of his empty sockets. He said, "Good," 3 times and continued, "I have children now, I can finally endure the pain of the heart of loneliness. From now on, there will be people celebrating my existence, and grieving for my death, even if I die now, you will remember me." Only that, finally, he sighed, "I lost both my eyes, and can no longer see the light. From now on, you too shall observe this world for me." It rained the entire night, only at dawn did the rain stop. Fang Yuan left the inn. Along the streets the passers-by carried heavy and sad expressions. This night, the clan suffered great losses. The truth was, for the 3 clans on Qingmao Mountain, none of them escaped this fate, all had suffered heavy losses. Fang Yuan could tell from seeing the merit board. After a night, the battle merit board lost 25 small groups, all sacrificed in the wolf tide. Even if there was 1 or 2 survivors, they were either injured or crippled. The group Gu Peng was in, was among this. The dozen over days after this, the situation worsened by the day. First, the 100 Beast King Bold Lightning Wolf had appeared, and then soon after, reports came in that there was the 1000 Beast King Frenzy Lightning Wolf. Information like this caused the rank 2 Gu masters battling to be frightened. If they met the Frenzy Lightning Wolf, they would need at least 3 groups to cooperate to deal with it. This is not including the normal wolf groups together with the Frenzy Lightning Wolf. The 3 clans had to send out their rank 3 elders to deal with the situation. In this situation, the Gu masters' daily lives became very dangerous and long. Even with the stealth scales Gu, Fang Yuan had to be careful and meticulous. After all, he might encounter a Beast King class Lightning Wolf with a Lightning IGU. The good news was that he had previously paid a price to be able to use the Earth Communication Eargrass. This investigative goose range was very large, allowing him to avoid the large-sized wolf packs. Eventually, the weather got warmer as July was at its end. Even though the situation was not optimistic, under the cooperation of the three clans, the situation was under control. Somewhere near the mountainside, 3 GU masters who had already experienced an intense battle were facing against a bold lightning wolf that had just arrived. The aura of death was impending. Damn it, insufficient primeval essence. If I had 60%, no just 30%, we would not have to be chased like this. Group leader Shang Zan stared at the slowly approaching bold lightning wolf. Like a cat chasing a mouse, he vomited a mouthful of bloody water. The mountain cliff is ahead, there is no path left, what do we do? A group member asked with a pale expression. What can we do? We can only put our hopes on the reinforcements. I heard Lord Bai Ningbing from my clan has come out of his closed-door cultivation and is rushing into battle. The two original groups, from both the Shang clan and Bai clan, faced the wolf tied together and cooperated, but now only 3 people were left. Rather than relying on the Bai Ningbing who was nowhere to be found, I'd rather fight for a chance to survive. Shang Zan gritted his teeth. The reason why a Beast King is so dangerous is because of the GU on its body. I have a Plunder GU, it can forcefully steal a GU worm from my enemy. But it needs to be sustained when activated and I cannot move. During this period, you have to protect me. Okay. The other two looked at each other and stood in front of Shang Zan, helping him block the bold lightning wolf. Even though they knew that there was little hope, no one was willing to resign themselves to death. If the plunder is successful, we have a chance to live. Heaven bless us. Shang Zan's face was determined as he raised his right arm. Life and death depends on this. The 3 humans and 1 wolf did not know that, high up on the cliff, a white-haired young man wearing a white shirt was staring at this scene. Life is so boring. He sat on the ground, one hand propping himself up, while the other was pouring liquid from his wine bottle. What he poured out was not wine, but sweet mountain spring water. He did not drink wine, but only liked water. As this young man drank, he stared at the show before him. Fight, and die. Such a mundane life is too boring. Only with an intense battle like this, can your lives have a hint of excitement and color. This way, your lives has some meaning. He laughed lightly in his heart, not showing any inclination to help. Even if he had the ability, even if his Bai clan member was there. So what? To him, loneliness is the deepest darkness, and the light of kinship is just a facade. He Bai Ningbing would not do something as boring as saving someone. Tai Ri Yong Mang Verdant Great Sun, Gu Yu Yin Huang Desolate Ancient Moon. Important note. These names are really hard to translate, actually because they are names they should be in pinyin, Tai Ri Yong Mang and Ji Yu Yu Yin Huang. However, the names are relevant to another plot-wise matter, so they had to be translated to English, which was really difficult. For Ji Yu Yu Yin Huang, the Ji Yu Yu here is exactly the same as the Ji Yu Yu clan. Chapter 132. Chapter 132, 3-Step Fragrant Grass. On the cliff, Bai Ningbing watched with interest. As he sat at the cliff, a life and death battle was on full display. The bold lightning wolf took its move, slowly approaching. 2 GU masters blocked its path with a grim expression. Behind them, Shang Zan was half kneeling on the ground, his left hand grabbing his right wrist, his right hand in the shape of a claw, aiming at the bold lightning wolf. Plunder GU. Suddenly, he shouted loudly, all the primeval essence in his body gushing towards the plunder GU. An invisible grabbing force exploded from within. Shang Zan's right hand grabbed the air, and a sense of illusion made him feel that he had grabbed onto a GU worm. But this GU worm continued to struggle, contesting with him. This force was very large, his center of gravity had already been very low, but he still felt a very strong force dragging him forward. Plunder Gu's success rate is very low, but I have to succeed this time, otherwise we're doomed. He gritted his teeth, veins popping up on his forehead as his expression turned ferocious, contesting with all his ability. Shang Zan had no other way. Failure means death. Under the pressure of death, he infused the plunder GU with all the primeval essence he could muster. With the infusion of the primeval essence, the plunder GU residing in his right palm also increased its sucking force. The bold lightning wolf felt something amiss, and started howling, attacking in a frenzy. The 2 GU masters could hardly block it. Just when Shang Zan felt that his plunder was going to succeed, his expression changed. Damn it, not enough primeval essence. He suddenly vomited a mouthful of blood, his state of health being at the worst. Once a plunder fails, he would face some backlash. This was a flaw of the plunder GU. Howl. Without the plunder Gu's restriction, the bold lightning wolf opened its mouth, and started to howl. The GU worm that lived within it used its ability, and made its teeth shine with lightning. Eerie blue lightning discharged and finally shot out from its mouth. The lightning shot through the middle of both GU masters, aiming for the half-kneeling Shangzan. Shangzan did not even have time to cry before he got hit by the lightning, turning into a piece of charred black cooked meat, instantly dead. Run. The remaining two GU masters no longer had any fighting spirit as they ran in two directions. The bold lightning wolf chased up to one of them, pouncing on him and biting the throat. The final Bai clan GU master was blocked by the bold lightning wolf, and could only retreat towards the cliff. Ah, I'm going to die. With his back against the cliff, he roared in despair, venting out the fear in his heart. But suddenly his voice came to a stop. He saw Bai Ningbing on top of the cliff. Lord Bai Ningbing, Lord Bai Ningbing, is that really you? He was stunned but then started shouting, overjoyed. Oops, you found me, Bai Ningbing laughed, and raised his right hand. His right index finger pointed downwards and an icicle instantly formed, shooting downwards. The icicle hit the GU master crying for help, penetrating his skull, all the way to his chin. Ah, his face was still fixed with intense joy after finding hope, but then fell to the ground with a plop. The bold lightning wolf was shocked by the event. It stared at Bai Ningbing, its mouth opening. Within, lightning coiled around its teeth. Ignorant beast. Bai Ningbing stared plainly, jumping down lightly from the 5-meter cliff. In the air, he clapped his palms together, and icy mist instantly formed. Next his palms splitted, and an ice blade appeared. This ice blade was around 1.7 meters, like the katana on earth, with a transparent icy body. The handle was grabbed by Bai Ningbing. Bold lightning wolf shot out electric light from bottom to up, and Bai Ningbing laughed while 2 lines of white water vapor poured out of his nose. The water vapor swirled around, wrapping around his body into a layer of water barrier. The water ball continued to rotate on its own, and the bold lightning wolf's lightning dissipated upon hitting this barrier. The water ball burst open, and the white-clothed young man appeared from within. Die. The young man's iris turned from black to pure blue, like 2 pieces of blue crystal, devoid of feelings and emotion. The light of the blade shone. Bai Ningbing landed lightly, and from his half-transparent white ice blade, a drop of blood fell. Meanwhile, the bold lightning wolf stayed still like a statue. A breath later, fresh blood poured from its neck as the large wolf head fell on the ground, rolling several times. As for the body, it collapsed on the ground. The lightning current GU that resided in its body shot out like lightning towards Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing flicked his wrist, and a light shot out from his blade. The lightning current GU, under his sword, exploded into a ball of eerie blue lightning current with a bang, perishing instantly. Bai Ningbing slowly walked towards Shangzan's corpse. The other GU worms, they are all ordinary. But this plunder GU is slightly interesting. From Shangzan's corpse, he extracted the plunder GU and held it near his chest. Even though the 3 clans have an agreement, after a GU master dies, if anyone after that obtains a GU worm that has lost its GU master, they need to hand it over. But Bai Ningbing did not care about this rule. Even if they found out, so what? He was the symbol of the Bai clan's rise, and the clan would definitely protect him. This, he was very sure of. Only this wolf tide is really boring. He used his hand to caress his ice blade, feeling the intense freezing sensation. Come to think about it, it is more fun competing with someone. He yawned, suddenly smiling. I wonder how Qing Shu, Shang Li and the others are doing, how much have they grown? After cultivating behind closed doors for so long, maybe they can give me a surprise, maybe. Days later, at the square where it was overflowing with people, Fang Yuan stared at a giant flag. On the flag, words were formed by the swimword GU. The content was about the resources co-supplied by the 3 clans. These resources were very broadly categorized, from food used to feed GU worms, rice and condiments for humans, oil and other living necessities to GU worms themselves and primeval stones. But behind these resources, there was a number attached to them, corresponding to the amount of merit points needed to exchange for them. A wolf's eye was 10 merit points, and 5 merit points was for a bag of 500 grams of rice. Using 25 merit points could let a GU master exchange for 1 primeval stone. Undoubtedly, the arrival of the wolf tide brought about an opportunity never seen before during peaceful times. The Battle Merit Board and this Resource Board urged on many GU masters, making them willingly bath in warm blood, hunting lightning wolves day and night. Especially recently, as the wolf tide intensified, the three clans brought out the savings they had and spurred on the GU masters' battle spirit, also raising their battle capability to help the village survive this ordeal. Thus, the Resource Board had many things that were not commonly seen. Like now, Fang Yuan's attention was on this GU. Three-step fragrant grass GU, he muttered, staring at the description on the large flag. Three-step fragrant grass GU was a GU worm Fang Yuan needed, as it could assist with movement, raising Fang Yuan's running speed. Honestly speaking, these days, the Resource Board had many new GU worms. But only this three-step fragrant grass GU was what Fang Yuan wanted. Except that this grass GU was not easy to get. It was not only the only one of its kind on the Resource Board, but the merit points required to exchange for it is also very high. If I use my true ability, I can definitely gather enough merit points to exchange for this three-step fragrant grass GU. But if I do that, it would invite the suspicion of the clan, and that is not desirable. Fang Yuan thought silently. There is another way, and that is to produce a large amount of vitality leaves and sell these rank 1 GU to the clan, exchanging it for merit points. But this method is slow. By the time I get enough points, someone might have exchanged it already. Fang Yuan shook his head internally. This method had a flaw that would lead to failure. Then what should he do? He stared at the Resource Board and the Merit Board, falling into deep thought. Towards the merit points, he had a clearer and deeper understanding of it compared to all the surrounding people. Merit points are basically a kind of emergency currency. During peacetime, primeval stones are the common medium of exchange. They were hard currency and had high commercial value in themselves, thus would never devalue. But with the wolf tide, the need for primeval stones surged, and it could no longer be used as a currency. Thus, an emergency currency was needed to take over. Thus, merit points were born. With an alternate currency like the merit point, it can prevent the economy from collapsing temporarily. Like on Earth, when there's a war, the government would print large amounts of paper money. Of course, that causes inflation and rising price levels. The merit points are the same. The more it drags on, the more it devalues. But during the time of the village's life and death situation, without merit points and using only primeval stones is not sustainable. Thus, they can only pick the lesser poison. Hence after the wolf tide, the economy always has signs of depression. Sigh, this rough form of an economy is nothing worth mentioning. If I am a rank 3, I can easily play around. But unfortunately, I do not have enough strength, so I'm unable to handle the risks. If I push on, it is equivalent to playing with fire. Fang Yuan sighed internally. The point was that his cultivation was not high, and his strength was not sufficient. Without strength, only having wisdom, it is useless. Thus, in Renzu's story, Renzu chose to deal with the strength GU, obtaining strength and giving up on wisdom. That is because, strength is the foundation. Fang Yuan was still thinking deeply when he heard the discussions of the people around him. Do you guys know? Bai Ningbing struck again. What, which unlucky GU master is it this time? It's Shang Clan's Shang Li, that dejected-looking one. Sigh, what is this Bai Ningbing doing? Last time, injuring Kai Shan, and now attacking Shang Li. With the wolf tide coming, he is still fooling around. He's always does what he wants. He is already a rank 3 GU master and is still finding problem with rank 2 GU masters. For fairness, he even used a GU worm to suppress his own cultivation to rank 2, he is really bored and hard to understand. Bai Ningbing HMPH, a person halfway into the coffin. But that reminded me of something. Fang Yuan upon hearing this felt something in his heart stir. He knew how to get a large amount of merit points quickly. Chapter 133. Chapter 133, Thanks for letting me kill you. Sprinting rapidly, the trees before Fang Yuan looked like they were crashing into him, and he quickly avoided them nimbly, pushing off with his legs. His right ear had roots swaying around, and behind him was a bold lightning wolf angered by him on purpose and several hundred healthy ordinary lightning wolves. The lightning wolf's speed was faster than him. Especially the bold lightning wolf, its streamlined body jolted around in the complicated terrain, having an extremely fast speed. Seeing Fang Yuan who was about to be caught up, suddenly, his body had ripples of light around him, and he vanished. The bold lightning wolf had to halt its steps and observe the surroundings with bewilderment. Fang Yuan sprinted to a faraway place, before reappearing again. Bold lightning wolf's eyesight was sharp, immediately finding him. It growled angrily and chased after Fang Yuan again. As for those ordinary lightning wolves, they followed closely behind. Fang Yuan laughed internally and continued sprinting. Rinse and repeat, he had finally reached his destination. This time, he activated his stealth completely. The wolf pack who came chasing sniffed around the area where Fang Yuan disappeared, and soon after, the bold lightning wolf found its new target. Not far away, on the mountain valley, there were 5 GU masters fighting with a pack of wolves. Howl, the bold lightning wolf had limited IQ, immediately forgetting Fang Yuan. It turned its head and growled, and the lightning wolves behind it entered the valley's battlefield like tidal waves. How can this be? The GU master in battle saw this scene and despaired. Didn't they say that each pack of wolves have their own mobility range? We took so much effort to kill a bold lightning wolf, and here comes a second one. We're screwed. Quickly send the distress signal to the clan. This new pack of wolves joined in and the GU master's pressure intensified, their tone showing a panicky and flustered emotion. The investigative GU master shot out a GU worm from his hand. This GU worm was like a golden round ball, but had a pair of colorful feathered wings. It flew into midair and exploded, turning into a rainbow flame, observable from a 50 kilometers range. This was the signal GU, a rank 1 expendable GU worm, often used to send signals. The signal has been sent, everyone hang in there, wait for reinforcements. The group leader shouted at an appropriate timing, slightly raising the morale and stabilizing their fighting spirits. It's useless. Fang Yuan appeared at a high point on the cliff, staring downwards, his heart smirking. This GU master group's situation was already well investigated by him. The nearest group in the vicinity was also deep in the wolf pack's encirclement. That pack of wolves was also lured over by Fang Yuan, to restrict them. Killing lightning wolves, each eyeball is 10 merit points. But on the battlefield, reclaiming GU worms and bringing them to the clan higher-ups is worth at least 1,000 points. This kind of thing, after doing it 2 or 3 times, I will be able to exchange the 3-step fragrant grass GU, Fang Yuan thought in his heart. Under his scheme, the GU master group's fate was sealed. Next, I will wait for them to be exterminated. Then I shall lure the lightning wolf pack away and come back here to collect the GU worms. Fang Yuan walked to a nearby tree and sat down leisurely. No one was willing to die, so these GU masters put up a strong resistance. Fang Yuan did not risk it to lure 1,000 Beast King Frenzy Lightning Wolf, but instead chose the bold Lightning Wolf, so this gave them the opportunity to struggle for a longer time. Especially when among them, there was a defeated opponent of Fang Yuan's. Gu Manshi. He had the monolith Gu and had strong defense, thus he alone could block many Lightning Wolves' attack. But, this was also why Fang Yuan chose their group. The more precious the GU worm, after returning them, the more merit points are awarded. After bringing back the monolith GU, Fang Yuan can get around 3,900 merit points, and that can let his position on the battle merit board rise by at least 20 positions. Of course, Kai Shan, Mo Yan and Qing Shu's GU worms were more precious than the monolith GU. But Kai Shan's group had GU Kai Shi, who possessed the snake communication GU, able to rely on heat to detect living beings. Fang Yuan's stealth had no use against him. As for Mo Yan, she had an even stronger investigative GU master than Kai Shi, with even more methods. She had single-handedly completed wolf den investigation missions given by the clan many times. Qing Shu group does not have a strong investigative GU master, but because of GU Fang Zheng's existence, the clan has definitely sent a clan elder to follow and protect him, thus if Fang Yuan lures them, it is courting death. For the GU masters in the other 2 clans, Fang Yuan was not familiar with them. Setting up others was not easy to do. After choosing left and right, he finally decided on a few groups, and after following them for a long while, he managed to find an appropriate chance. Bai Ningbing was sleeping when sounds of battles entered his ear. He opened his eyes slightly, the slit of his eye shining with cold light. Another boring scene. He was sleeping on the edge of the cliff, and just turning around allowed him to have a clear view of the valley. He was about to go back to sleep, but suddenly saw a figure. Oh, his eyes shone with shock as he saw Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was leaning against the tree, eating a wild fruit he picked, staring coldly at the battlefield with no intention to help. Bai Ningbing instantly grew interested, he had never met someone like this. From young, the people around him were all loyal to the clan, and indulged in kinship. But from Fang Yuan, he felt a sense of familiarity, loneliness and aloofness. Who was he? Bai Ningbing's heart developed confusion and interest. The wild fruit was picked on the spot, but with his experience, Fang Yuan could tell it was harmless. The fruit was juicy, sour and sweet. As he ate, his right ear twitched, he heard something, and it was nearby. Bai Ningbing was sleeping on a higher terrain of the cliff earlier, but without making any movements, the earth communication ear grass could not sense him. However, now that he moved, he was instantly discovered. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with lightning as he turned his body to see a white-haired and white-clothed young man, stabbing his ice blade into the cliff and sliding down along it, landing not too far away. Bai Ningbing. Fang Yuan's eyes squinted, recognizing him instantly. Qingmao Mountain's #1 genius, the symbol of Bai clan's rise. Killing a rank 3 clan elder at rank 2, and at this young age he already reached rank 3, a crucial person capable of changing the entire power distribution of Qingmao Mountain. If it was other GU masters facing Bai Ningbing alone, their expression would be rapidly changing, either nervous or wary. But Fang Yuan's gaze only stayed on him for a second before looking back at the valley. His expression was calm, almost uncaring. This is because Fang Yuan knew all about Bai Ningbing's trump cards and secrets. Very clearly. Oh, Bai Ningbing walked over, staring at Fang Yuan blankly. His mouth opened, dragging his word. He curiously stared at Fang Yuan like he was looking at an object he had never seen before. He got closer and closer. The more he looked at Fang Yuan, the more his eyes shone, and the greater interest he had in his heart. On this person, why do I sense a familiar smell? It feels like I've seen him before. Like long ago, we are already friends, this feeling. Bai Ningbing's heart was turbulent. Friend, this word, he was always skeptical, despising, and even felt disdain towards it. He never thought he would have a friend. Those commoners around him, they only had the right to admire him, they had no right to become his friend. Bai Ningbing always thought, he would never have a friend in his life. But now, he suddenly had this feeling. This was a mystical feeling, but he was very sure of it. When he looked at Fang Yuan, it felt like he was looking at himself. Bai Ningbing got slightly too close, and Fang Yuan turned around, staring at him plainly with his deep dark iris. Without a reason, Bai Ningbing understood the meaning of his gaze. It was a warning. He halted his steps, slightly stunned, very impolitely staring at Fang Yuan while saying, you really are interesting. If the Bai clan GU masters who were familiar with him heard this, they would go crazy. That is because, since his birth, Bai Ningbing had never praised someone like this. Fang Yuan ignored him, biting his wild fruit and staring at the valley's intense fight. Bai Ningbing circled around Fang Yuan, observing him closely. As if he was looking at the strangest food on earth. He looked from every angle, even squatting down on the ground and looking up at him from the floor. His silky white hair, which was impeccably clean like a crystal, instantly laid on the muddy ground, but he did not care. His white robe dragged across the ground and he paid no heed either. This moment, he was like a pure child, seeing his playmate, curiously staring at Fang Yuan with a longing expression, many times wanting to speak but couldn't. Bai Ningbing felt that he had many things to say to Fang Yuan, but when he was about to speak, he felt no need anymore, because he felt that Fang Yuan understood. After being silent for a while, he asked, the valley's battle is not interesting at all, what's there to look at? Halfway through, his eyebrows raised, showing an expression of realization, I see. You lured this wolf pack, you want to kill these GU masters, but why did you not do it yourself? Oh, afraid of leaving evidence. You are too vigilant, from your aura, you already have rank 2 cultivation. If I were you, I'll just go ahead and do it myself. Suddenly, he chuckled like he had seen the most fun toy in this world as a kid. His eyebrows darted around, you are really interesting, even the things you do are interesting. He, I am starting to like you. Fang Yuan retracted his gaze, turning around and looking at Bai Ningbing. He knew this person, that is because this person is also a natural demon. What is a demon? Abandoning the worldly customs, treating the people of this world with indifference. Engulfed by loneliness, and despising relationships. This person was like Fang Yuan's shadow, except that Fang Yuan was deeper down the path, and Bai Ningbing was more pure. In simple words, they were kindred spirits. In his previous life's memory, after the 3 clans barely survived the wolf tide, this man murdered the 3 clans and caused the lustrous green Qingmao mountain to turn into a hellish ice mountain. Bai Ningbing, Fang Yuan sighed in his heart, saying slowly, you're very lonely, huh? Bai Ningbing's eyes widened, squatting on the floor, nodding continuously, empathizing and sighing, yes, these days, life has been super boring. Some time ago, I killed a Shang clan GU master and that was somewhat fun. Getting this GU, look. Fang Yuan looked at the plunder GU in his hand, starting to laugh, so, you want to kill me? Bai Ningbing's eyes turned from black to blue crystal color as he jumped up and straightened his body. Ha ha ha, he raised his head and laughed thrice, staring at Fang Yuan with an excited expression. You do know. That's right, I want to kill you, come kill me too. Life and death battles are the most fun, meeting someone as interesting as you, I swear I've never done anything so interesting. He got more and more excited as he suddenly opened both arms, arching his head and sighing, ah. I can feel that my life had never been so colorful. Thank you, although I don't know your name, thank you for letting me kill you. He. Chapter 134. Chapter 134, Hunting Down. Do not worry, you are only a rank 2, I will not lower myself and take advantage of you. I shall restrict my cultivation to the same rank for your sake, so come, let's have a fair fight. Bai Ningbing roared with savage laughter. Facing the crazy Bai Ningbing, Fang Yuan easily maintained a languid expression. He met the heated glare in an equal manner, responding coolly. Wanna kill me, then come. Nothing left to say, Fang Yuan took the first step, his body drifting away like a falling petal. Bai Ningbing's laugh came to an abrupt stop at this, his voice easily tainted with anguish. Don't you run from me. He instantly ran after, engaging Fang Yuan in a relentless chase. Fang Yuan ridiculed the disheveled master soundlessly, sprinting towards the mountain valley. Disturbed by the two barging into the valley's inner battlefield, the wolf pack reacted with fury, wasting no time in attacking Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing. The GU masters who had already been forced into the valley and lost one man noticed the spectacle, the remaining 4 revealing a relieved expression when they saw the wolves become distracted. Hang in there guys, reinforcements are here. One even shouted loudly, blatantly trying to encourage the wolves against the newcomers. Why is there only 2? Another asked, clueless while they saw the muffled figures of Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing. But as they got closer, Gu Manxi's face turned weird with realization. It's him. It was impossible for him to not remember Fang Yuan, along with a sharp feeling of fear mixed with shame. It was this man that had defeated and publicly humiliated him. Those cold, merciless eyes dug out the deepest nightmare in his heart. He would never forget that terrifying event and the fiendish man who accompanied the memory. He had once sworn to himself that he would buck up and reclaim his pride. But now, faced with Fang Yuan who was here to save him, Gu Manxi felt very complicated internally. Wait, the second person is. They all were able to recognize Bai Ningbing, and showed collective signs of shock at his appearance. Bai Ningbing. Gu Manxi's eyes widened, he did not expect in the least to suddenly see Bai Ningbing appear under such a situation. Scumbag, stop right there. Behind him, Bai Ningbing was continuing to shout vehemently. Fang Yuan paid no attention, however, and transversed among the wolf pack. His body was glowing with a white jade light, protecting him from the rabid lightning wolves' bites and scratches. But because each assault made contact, his aperture's primeval essence dropped quickly in turn. Not far away, Bai Ningbing's nose had flared and was blowing out water vapor, forming into a round shield of condensed moisture, enveloping his body. As each of the numerous lightning wolves hit this seemingly water shield, though, all of their kinetic force built up by their charge was simply dispersed by the water flow, and they were quickly sent flying away after with the resounding ripples of water. Logically speaking, Bai Ningbing's performance now wasn't that impressive though. He was already a rank 3, even though according to him, he had already seemed to have suppressed his cultivation personally, using only rank 2 strength to deal with Fang Yuan. Even with rank 2 strength, Bai Ningbing's speed was slightly faster than Fang Yuan's, and he had more primeval essence, but with the interference of the wolf pack, his distance with Fang Yuan started to increase. The crucial deciding factor was the difference in physical strength between the two. Fang Yuan had the strength of 2 boars, while Bai Ningbing's strength was of a slightly lower quality. Fang Yuan could also endure the wolf pack's attacks and continue moving forward. Bai Ningbing's water shield, although it is able to mitigate some of attacks, could not open a path forward for him, unlike Fang Yuan. Howl, one especially bold lightning wolf began to pay attention and was drawn to Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing. It howled, commanding the ordinary lightning wolves around it to give way, opening a path for it instantly. The lightning wolf wasted no time and spread its limbs, charging towards Fang Yuan. Seeing this scene, the 4 trapped GU masters all showed expressions of worry. As for Bai Ningbing, still behind Fang Yuan, upon seeing this new development, laughed loudly. But the next moment, Fang Yuan's body disappeared right before Bai Ningbing's eyes, vanishing from his vision like a fleeting ripple of water. His laughter cut off abruptly at the sight, the other GU masters in the valley being left similarly speechless. The bold lightning wolf howled angrily after having lost track of Fang Yuan, but did not reduce its speed while charging towards Bai Ningbing to take its fury out on him instead. This prompted a smile from Bai Ningbing, his lips curving once more in amusement. He, this is really interesting, you really are interesting. Ha ha ha, then I shall start my meal with this appetizer. As he finished speaking, his eyes transitioned, changing from black to a shade of blue the same color as that of the sky. Taking a stance, he propped one leg up like a flamingo, holding out the ice blade, and started to rotate. Quickly picking up speed, the ice blade carved out many waves of sword traces, maneuvering and slashing the air to form a scene similar to a tornado. The bright sword waves congealed into a blizzard storm and quickly engulfed the wolf pack. Numerous lightning wolves were torn to shreds by the act, becoming pieces of minced meat flung about by the storm. But not much blood ended up splattering against the surroundings, as it had almost all been completely flash-frozen by the icy blizzard storm already. The bold lightning wolf howled, showing its ferocity against the storm. The GU worm in its body started to work as well, causing golden sparks of electricity to flicker throughout its rugged coat. The hair on its body stood on ends, golden electricity flowed like chains, coiling around its body and limbs. Altogether it formed what looked to be a modest chainmail. Its forepaws sprinted and it streaked like a golden shooting star, rushing into the ice blade storm. Bam! A thunderous explosion sounded through the valley as the ice blade storm came to a stop, a broken piece of the ice blade flying in the air and with a swoosh, stabbed into a mountain rock above. The white mist dispersed around the area. The bold lightning wolf laid on the revealed ground, its heart pierced through by an ice blade. Such a fatal attack ended its life almost instantly. Bai Ningbing laughed as he retracted the ice blade in his hands, gloating in his victory. The ice blade itself was broken from the middle down, the blade that managed to survive full of cracks, seemingly in a sorry state in his grip. But Bai Ningbing did not care as he stretched out his left hand and wiped the blade. The icy mist from before emanated from his left hand at the touch, spreading across the blade starting from the handle before covering it completely. Everywhere it reached, the ice blade was regenerated, the edge being sharpened once again. Soon a new tip was fully grown in place of the broken end. The death of the bold lightning wolf had dispersed the wolf pack, but Fang Yuan was nowhere to be seen. We will definitely remember Lord Bai Ningbong's act of saving us. The few GU masters that survived went up and gratefully paid their respects to Bai Ningbing. Only GU Manshi stayed on the spot, his expression being uncertain. Back then, he lost to Bai Ningbing, and was very indignant, but was let off by the latter. Now, though he had already successfully refined the monolith GU, upon seeing Bai Ningbing again, he did not have any confidence to challenge him anymore. Bai Ningbing snorted. Suddenly his arm moved, and the ice blade drew a few shining traces in the air. The three GU masters were caught off guard, not expecting their savior just moments ago to attack. They carried a look of disbelief as they laid on the ground, forever. Bai Ningbing, what are you doing? GU Manshi screamed, shocked and angry at the sudden manslaughter. Murdering, of course. Is something wrong in your head? Isn't this obvious? Bai Ningbing shrugged and laughed coldly. Accursed bastard. GU Manshi tightly clenched his fists out of rage while he gritted his teeth and scolded the other master. Our three clans have formed an alliance, yet you attack our GU clansmen. This is a violation of our alliance treaty. If you have any problems, come at me, I'm here. Never mind, it is time we settle our grudge from back then. Saying so, GU Manshi shouted and took a few steps, charging towards Bai Ningbing. He activated the monolith GU with all his strength, and all the muscles on his body bulked up while a thick rock skin formed. His entire appearance had turned into a rock man. Courting death, Bai Ningbing laughed coldly, raising his blade. The sharp ice blade came down relentlessly, first hacking GU Manshi's head, moving down past his brows before carving through his nose, lips and throat. The blade quickly came to a rest after it bisected the GU master down past his chest in an instant. Rock fragments flew out as the ice blade hit the abdomen, and the blade snapped. But the icy mist had already frozen all the remaining life force left in Manshi's body. Plop! He fell to the ground with a splatter, as dead as can be. The rock skin on his body slowly vanished, revealing his true form. Looks familiar. Bai Ningbing shook the wrist that was hurt by the vibration of the rock. He had pretty much forgotten the incident where he spared Manshi. He shook his head, turning around and facing the wide valley to shout. Come out. The GU masters you want dead, I've done it for you. Come, let's have a life and death match. Just as Bai Ningbing's words had finished, Fang Yuan appeared not far away. The white-haired young man's gaze became excited, as he raised his ice blade, slashing towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan laughed soundlessly at the act, turning around and leaving. Bai Ningbing shouted in anger that he was still fleeing, once again chasing Fang Yuan relentlessly. On the way, Fang Yuan lured Bai Ningbing to the battlefield that was the closest, where the Shangli group was fighting against another group of wolves led by a bold lightning wolf. This pack was obviously lured by Fang Yuan as well. Everyone put in more effort, the wolf pack is at its limit. The southeast direction sent a distress signal, it's been a while, they need our help. Shangli urged on his group, but halfway through, he could no longer speak when he saw Fang Yuan, and the Bai Ningbing persistently behind him. Ever since Fang Yuan surrendered, Shangli no longer cared about him. Thus, his gaze quickly shifted from Fang Yuan to Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing, Shangli's eyes spewed fire upon seeing the white-clothed, white-haired young man, his heart uncontrollably growing with rage. Not long ago, Bai Ningbing had appeared in front of him and attacked without a word, the event still fresh in his mind. And had been purposely suppressing his cultivation to rank 2. Shangli was caught off guard, and lost the battle. His personal honor, and the clan's glory, was all trampled by Bai Ningbing ruthlessly. This to him, was a big disgrace, how could he not be furious? Wait, Bai Ningbing seems to be chasing Fang Yuan. Shang Lin suddenly noticed. His body was short in stature, his round bald head glowing with light. Shang Lin is the same age as Fang Yuan, but having B-grade talent instead, he is the #1 talent among Shang clan's new GU masters of age. He was a rank 2 cultivator as well now, and after getting some experience, had grown up. Shang Li suppressed the urge to attack. Fang Yuan was from the GUU clan, not from his Shang clan. Even though there was the 3-clan alliance, they are still not close. Since it is an outsider fighting, it is best if one does not get involved. The Shangli group was about to watch on the sidelines, but how could Fang Yuan not expect that? One sentence from him changed their perspective in an instant. Fang Yuan quickly got close to the Shangli group, shouting in a frightened voice. I saw the plunder GU on him, protect me. Bai Ningbing is trying to eliminate all witnesses. Chapter 135. Chapter 135, Northern Dark Ice Soul, 10 Extreme Talents. What? Shang Lin was stunned. Plunder GU. There is only one person that has this GU worm in Qingmao Mountain and that is my cousin Shang Zan. Shang Yang's face turned gloomy. Shang Li closed his eyes, fierce light flickering in them. Others might be afraid of Bai Ningbing and even he was afraid, but this fear didn't represent his weakness and cowardice. In his heart, long was there already thoughts of sacrificing himself for the clan. He had the resolution to fight to the death with Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing, is the plunder GU in your possession? He stepped forward and faced Bai Ningbing, letting Fang Yuan brush past him. Bai Ningbing laughed coldly, so what if it is? Shang Yang's face was as gloomy as water and asked, tell me how did my cousin die? Why is his GU worm in your hands? Shang Lin also asked, Bai Ningbing, I respect you as my senior but you secretly seized our Shang clan's GU worm and didn't hand it over. This is an open violation of the alliance treaty. After he spoke, he raised a signal GU in his hand. With a bang, bright fireworks burst in the sky. The colorful light from the fireworks shone upon Bai Ningbing's face. He laughed, I have never cared about the dogshit alliance treaty. I only saw someone using the plunder GU and thought it was interesting, so I collected it. Shang Zhong was unable to hold back his anger when he heard this. He gave a furious shout and charged towards Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing, you looked while my cousin fought to death and didn't help. You bastard. The 5-person group was an integral whole. For personal or private reasons, the Shangli group were irreconcilable with Bai Ningbing. The fight was hard to avoid, the scene immediately turning chaotic. On one side was Bai Ningbing facing the Shangli group's attack, on the other side, they were surrounded by wolf pack and still had to face their attacks. Fang Yuan left the battlefield and calmly spectated from far away. The wolf pack moved together like a large millstone, and the 6 GU masters fought with their lives, the slightest carelessness could land them into the wolves' mouths. Shang Zhong used roaming zombie GU, his 2 irises turning gloomy green, Shang Li's 2 eyes were red whereas Bai Ningbing's pair of pupils were azure-like crystals. The fight between these 3 was the most intense in the battlefield. Under the roaming zombie GU's ability, Shang Zhong turned into a zombie. His defense was amplified against water and ice, withstanding Bai Ningbing's attacks. Shang Li used Grand Bear GU, With the strength of 2 bears, his bull-sized fists were without rival, and even Bai Ningbing's water barrier was destroyed under their attacks. It wasn't easy for the remaining 3 group members to meddle in this fight. They could only do their utmost to fight against the lightning wolves. That bold lightning wolf lured in by Fang Yuan could have been easily dealt with, but it had turned into a huge threat now. Bai Ningbing, you will pay for what you have done. Shang Zhang shouted and charged at Bai Ningbing. HMPH, just with you. Bai Ningbing coldly smiled. He nimbly jumped back, pulling apart some distance and flung out his left hand, throwing out 5 finger-sized icicles. The icicles struck Shang Yang's body, but Shang Zhang didn't feel any pain whatsoever. When he turned into a zombie, even if his hands and legs were broken, he wouldn't feel any pain. The cold aura in the icicles could freeze and slow down ordinary people's movements, but it only felt cool and refreshing to Shang Zhang. Zombie physique belonged to yin physiques. It had low resistance to fire, lightning and sunlight, but was very powerful against this type of cold aura. Bai Ningbing, you are still playing in this situation. Unleash your true strength, Shang Li furiously shouted. Bai Ningbing had been suppressing his cultivation base to rank 2 from the very beginning and was also mostly using rank 2 GU. Shang Li felt like he was being held in contempt. He felt humiliated, which caused his anger to burn even more. Ha ha ha, how can you minor characters have the qualifications to make me use my full strength? Bai Ningbing coldly laughed. His attacks were becoming more powerful, but he was still suppressing his strength and didn't use a rank 3 GU worm. Fang Yuan, who was spectating from afar with his hands crossed, clearly understood the reason. It is not that he doesn't want to unleash his true strength, but he cannot use it. Bai Ningbing, hey, he has Northern Dark Ice Soul physique. In the oldest legends of this world, all humans are descendants of Renzu. But as the saying goes, the dragon has 9 unique sons. There are no 2 absolutely same people, and even twins have differences. In this world, the difference that is of the biggest concern is aptitude. Those that have the aptitude to cultivate could become GU masters, going beyond ordinary. Those with no cultivation aptitude were just mortals, the lowest level in the society, who could be trampled upon and played with. Cultivation aptitudes were divided into 4 grades: A grade, B grade, C grade and D grade. Everyone knew this. But actually, there were still more outstanding aptitudes above a grade. This was a secret. Clans would never carelessly spread this, and only after reaching a certain status in society could one know this secret. Shang Li and the rest naturally didn't know, even elders and clan leaders might not know. But Fang Yuan, who had reached rank 6 in his previous life, shedding his mortal body and becoming a GU immortal, naturally was aware of this. There were 10 types of aptitudes above a grade, and they were collectively called 10 extreme physiques. Before Renzu died, he gave birth to 10 children. The eldest son Verdant Great Sun, second daughter Desolate Ancient Moon. Among the 10, there was one named Northern Dark Ice Soul. Renzu's legends, whether real or false, alluded to many secrets in GU Master's cultivation. Renzu's 10 kids individually represented 10 types of ultimate aptitudes. Fang Yuan recalled. Any one of the 10 extreme physiques is superior to a grade aptitude. The most excellent a grade aptitude can only store 99% primeval essence in their aperture. But any one of the 10 extreme physiques holds full 100% primeval essence in their aperture. However, everything exists in balance. The 10 extreme physiques which holds 100% primeval essence is too perfect, and heavens won't easily allow their existence. For instance, in Renzu's story, his 10 kids didn't have a long life. In reality, it is difficult for the GU masters who hold 10 extreme physiques to grow and mature, almost all dying an untimely death. Of course, if they can really grow to become a rank 6, they will be able to sweep through same stage opponents and even perform miracles such as fighting a higher rank. Bai Ningbing, who possesses Northern Dark Ice Soul, is the same. With 100% primeval essence, his aperture is too stressed out and has the risk of collapsing any moment. To decrease this risk, Bai Ningbing must cultivate and use primeval essence to nurture his aperture walls and increase its strength to be able to support the 100% primeval essence. Thus, his cultivation speed is outstanding and shocking. However, high cultivation means higher quality primeval essence, which subsequently increases the pressure on the aperture, instead increasing the risk. Bai Ningbing is like a victim in a lone boat in the sea. He doesn't have fresh water and can only drink the seawater to relieve his thirst, but the seawater is salty and will absorb the original moisture content of the body instead, making him even more thirsty. The higher his cultivation is, the nearer he is to destruction. Yet he cannot choose not to cultivate, since being from Bai village and the one upon whom the clan's expectations lies, he will also face assassination from Shang and Guu village. This forces him to continue to grow stronger. Being the possessor of the Northern Dark Ice Soul, he clearly understands his situation. Knowing he doesn't have much time left and his death being certain, he has thus formed this temperament. Fang Yuan sighed when he thought of this. This was clearly an irony. Excessively excellent aptitude didn't lead a GU master to have a meteoric rise, but would be the main culprit behind their deaths. Too much is as bad as too little. People need to drink water and eat food, but if they eat and drink excessively, they could die. From another angle, no matter which world, there is no true perfection. There is no perfect love, no perfect work. Excessively perfect will just lead to destruction. In Fang Yuan's previous life, 3 years after the wolf tide, Bai Ningbing's cultivation inevitably reached rank 4 realm. His aperture couldn't support the burden from the primeval essence and ultimately, it exploded. 10 extreme physiques wasn't tolerated by the heavens and earth, and the self-detonation of such a heaven-defying thing was like the most perfect song, its power outstanding, directly annihilating everyone in the 3 villages and turning the whole Qingmao mountain into an absolute death ice domain. Fortunately by that time, because of Fang Zheng who had been making things difficult for Fang Yuan who only had an average cultivation, Fang Yuan could only join a caravan to go away, thus luckily avoiding this disaster. To delay his death, Bai Ningbing used GU worms to dilute his rank 3 silver primeval essence into rank 2 red steel primeval essence, of his own accord. He also rarely used rank 3 GU worms at the same time. This was simply because rank 3 GU worms consumed great amounts of red steel primeval essence every time, resulting in the strength waning if it continued. Instead, it was better to continue using rank 2 GU worms which would be of much more help to Bai Ningbing in battles. This was the real reason Bai Ningbing suppressed his cultivation. If not, having strength but choosing to bind one's own hands and feet, landing in a dangerous state, was something only a brainless retard would do. Bai Ningbing was smart and intelligent, he had received great training and education, so how could he do such a foolish thing? Except, such a temperament at his young age was indeed unusual. But as someone who was about to die, why would he have misgivings in his behavior? Such disregard and fearlessness prevented him from being assimilated into the system, and nurtured a heart of the demonic path in him. Otherwise, with his living environment, countless expectations, great trainings, holding honor, fighting enemies, bright future, he would have already been assimilated into the organization system and nurtured a leader's temperament. Bai Ningbing was actually a pitiful child, and Fang Yuan had no wish to deal with him before. But since he wanted to kill Fang Yuan also didn't mind making use of him first before removing this misfortune early. The battle was still continuing. In this while, the situation had already changed. Bold Lightning Wolf was killed by Bai Ningbing and the wolf pack had ran away in defeat. Shangli Group's healing GU master fell under Bai Ningbing's blade but he had paid a heavy price for this. His right arm was viciously punched by Shangli and it seemed to have fractured as it was hanging limply throughout the battle. However, all of these couldn't hinder him from occupying the upper hand. Shangli was a top elite amongst rank 2 GU masters, his strength equal to Qing Shu and Kai Shan. Shang Zhang was a newly rising defense expert. Shang Lin was the genius newbie and now had rank 2 battle power. There was also another GU master, but even after combining their strength, these 4 were still suppressed by Bai Ningbing. One should know Bai Ningbing had already fought a battle before which had consumed a lot of his red steel primeval essence. He also killed Bold Lightning Wolf and the healing GU master, resulting in his right arm losing its ability to move. He could only abandon using his ice blade with his habitual right hand and switch to his left. By doing this, he had to temporarily abandon using his icicles, his offensive power almost reducing by half. He was still occupying the upper hand in such situation and his dominance was even becoming more solid. It is after all the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique. Although he used GU Worm to dilute his primeval essence and sealed the true advantage of the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique, the primeval essence recovery speed is still maintained. His advantage will continue to increase the longer the battle lasts. Fang Yuan looked at the situation and inwardly sighed. My current battle strength is not enough to defeat him, Fang Yuan calmly admitted this point. Fang Yuan only had C-grade aptitude with 44% primeval essence. Even the combined strength of B-grade aptitudes, Shang Li, Shang Lin and Shang Zhang were being suppressed by Bai Ningbing. It was obvious that if Fang Yuan faced Bai Ningbing by himself, his situation would only become more difficult than Shang Li and the rest. However, not being able to defeat you doesn't mean I can't kill you. Fang Yuan coldly smiled. This was the accumulated wisdom from 500 years of experience. Although they had similar reflections, compared to this centuries-old devil, Bai Ningbing was only a little devil forced into it by his cruel fate. Chapter 136. Chapter 136. Clash of Brawn and Brain. Cold air blew all over the place, accompanying ice blades in flight. Steel fists howled in the wind, and fangs growled their fury. Zhongli and the others' fight against Bai Ningbing had reached its climax. Not that much time had passed since the battle began, to be honest. But as the pressure from Bai Ningbing intensified, Zhongli and the others started to feel that time dragged on longer with the difficulty he posed. Xiang Yang's face was dim as water, Xiang Lin's forehead dripping with cold sweat, while Zhongli maintained a serious gaze. At this point, even Zhongli had to suppress his anger and admit Bai Ningbing's formidable strength. Even though Bai Ningbing suppressed his rank 3 cultivation, and only fought with rank 2 GU worms, he displayed strength that was able to suppress their entire group. But even then, the truth was that Bai Ningbing had not even given it his all. This was not intentional to prove a point, rather, it was a precautionary measure against Fang Yuan. To Zhongli and the others, their motive was simple, it was to arrest or kill Bai Ningbing. But to Bai Ningbing, the situation was more complicated. He needed to fight back the Zhongli group on one end, while simultaneously being on guard to prevent Fang Yuan's sneak attack on the other end. He had seen Fang Yuan using the stealth scales GU with his own eyes, thus in battle he needed to make sure to divert some of his attention to prevent Fang Yuan's attack. But till now, Fang Yuan had not made a move. Did he leave? Impossible. Although it is our first meeting, he is not the type to retreat. He will definitely act. He is just biding his time. Bai Ningbing waved his ice blade and suppressed Zhongli, while his thoughts raced in his mind. Not only did he have to use his brawn to fight the Zhongli group, he also had to compete with Fang Yuan using his wit. Fang Yuan refusing to attack was increasingly putting pressure on himself. A sheathed sword is the most dangerous, because one would not be able to predict where the sword is going to stab. Although Fang Yuan had not struck, and was secretly watching the battle, he had been able to divert Bai Ningbing's attention all this time. If not for this diversion, the Zhongli group would have lost long ago, otherwise they would not be able to hold on for so long. This Bai Ningbing is very meticulous. First he killed the bold lightning wolf decisively, reducing a pawn that I could use. Next he risked getting injured to killing the healing GU master in Zhongli group. All these actions are the most sensible decisions to make in his situation. Although he is engaging in serious combat with Zhongli group, he is still holding back to prevent my attack, in fact. Under the shadow of a nearby tree, Fang Yuan crossed his arm as he watched, his eyes shining with uncertainty. It was not that he did not want to strike, but he just could not find an opportunity to. He was not anxious though. The longer this dragged on, the more battle strength would be drained from Bai Ningbing. The 10 extreme bodies had a supreme primeval essence recovery rate, much more than a grade, but it still was spent up over time. The longer Fang Yuan waited, the more primeval essence used up in Bai Ningbing's aperture, and the more the scales of victory would shift towards Fang Yuan. If Bai Ningbing's aperture had no primeval essence left, so what if he is the northern dark ice soul body? One moonblade and he's beheaded. Fang Yuan knew this, and Bai Ningbing was aware of this fact as well. Although he currently had the upper hand, his heart was getting heavier. I cannot continue like this. Bai Ningbing's blue eyes shone as he took a large step back, pulling some distance from the Zhongli group. Next he gulped, his throat expanding like something had risen from his stomach into his mouth. His jaw was raised high as he opened his mouth in difficulty. An icy blue-colored small bird popped out of his mouth, its head raising above his white teeth. It looked around and soon found a locked onto a specific gaze. Jumping out of Bai Ningbing's mouth, the small, icy bird flapped its wings strongly, flying towards Zhongli. The small blue bird was cute like a pigeon, but Zhongli and the others' faces lost their color upon seeing it. Rank 3 blue bird ice coffin GU. Get away from it, quickly. The Zhongli group frantically tried to dodge around, but this blue ice bird was not like the moonblade, once sent out, it was locked onto the target. Boom! It smashed into the support GU master in Zhongli group, before promptly exploding. Frosty air blew all over the place, and the piercing blue light from the explosion lit up the entire battlefield. The next second, the blue light dispersed, and a partially transparent block of ice was revealed, a cold watery blue in color. The GU master was visibly sealed within the ice block, his face still retaining the fear and anxiety before death, but he had lost all signs of life. Even though Bai Ningbing was already a rank 3 GU master, once a rank 3 GU worm was used, his suppressed rank 2 primeval essence in his aperture would be rapidly used up. At the same time, it cannot display the true power of a rank 3 GU worm. Moreover, once used, during the following period, the enemy can make use of this opportunity to attack. But Shang Li's group of 3 were frozen in shock instead, startled by this bluebird ice coffin Gu. Bai Ningbing did not follow up the attack, and instead turned around and left, attempting to leave the battlefield. This was a wise decision, for if he continued, the situation would become more disadvantageous for him. Damn it, Bai Ningbing, don't run if you have guts. Big brother Shang Xin was killed by him, kill him, take revenge for brother Shang Xin. Shang Li group cursed loudly, but could not catch up. Originally, the 4 of them were barely enough to form an encirclement, but now that they had 1 less person, their blockade was easily broken by Bai Ningbing. Seeing that Bai Ningbing was about to leave the battlefield, at this time, a moonblade flew out from among the bushes, and a person leapt out and quickly following after. Bam! Bai Ningbing's ice blade waved, and dispelled the moonblade. But his abdomen was hit by someone, throwing him back by 3 large steps. During this period, Shang Li and the others were sobered from their stupor, getting close and surrounded Bai Ningbing again. Bai Ningbing ignored the 3, staring at the newcomer instead, chuckling. So you finally appeared, it's Fang Yuan. Shang Lin's eyes shone, seeing a glimmer of hope. Fang Yuan, good job. Shang Zhong was overjoyed, shouting. Shang Li stayed silent, although he seemed rash, his thoughts were more meticulous than anyone else. Fang Yuan did not strike earlier, but suddenly appeared. Was he watching the battle all along? The thought of this possibility brought him unease. Fang Yuan smiled mildly, showing a victorious appearance, but his heart sank. Bai Ningbing's act of retreating was to force him to appear. Fang Yuan was clear of his intentions, and saw through it, but so what if he did? He had to show up. Shang Li's expression was also taken into account, and he had expected it. Rest assured, everyone, he opened his mouth. I've informed the clan, just hang in there for a little longer, reinforcements are coming. Shang Li was relieved at once. Shang Lin, Shang Yang's battle spirits were ignited, and Bai Ningbing suddenly laughed loudly, haha, so he's called Fang Yuan, such an interesting guy. The first only want to kill you even more now. I'm afraid you're not capable enough to achieve that. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with cold light, taking a step forward. Bai Ningbing, the heavens want you dead, you're finished. Shang Zhong gritted his teeth, running into Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing, you are too arrogant, you will pay the price today. Shang Lin growled, moving towards Bai Ningbing's back. Fang Yuan, stay back a little, back us up and prevent Bai Ningbing from escaping. Shang Li said. If Fang Yuan interfered, it would destroy the chemistry the 3 of them shared. Battle continued. Fang Yuan's expression was tranquil while he continued to constantly attack, treating Shang Li's words as if they were air. The Shang Li group frowned. Outsider interference would cause the battle formation to be chaotic, and their cooperation would start to fail. But Fang Yuan's every attack was ruthless and decisive, having a strong grasp of opportunity, instead being of great help to them. At first, Shang Li growled threateningly at him, but soon, he shut the fuck up. His frowning face slowly eased, and his brows started to raise instead, revealing his surprise towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan did not strike much, but each attack he made had great implications on the battle. Once his master-level methods were displayed, he instantly grasped the battle in his hands. Shang Li's group of 5 originally were at a disadvantage when fighting Bai Ningbing, and ended up getting 2 of their members killed. But once Fang Yuan joined in, along with the 3's combined combat prowess, they managed to suppress Bai Ningbing into a corner. Bai Ningbing, just go and die. Shang Li growled loudly, jumping up and landing heavily. His 10 fingers intertwined to form a punch, slamming toward Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing wanted to dodge, but Fang Yuan appeared at that moment, and at the same time shot out a moonblade, blocking the direction where he wanted to leap. Bai Ningbing had no choice but to endure Shang Li's attack. Water Shield Gu. From his nostrils, 2 lines of water vapor coiled around his body, forming a spherical barrier of condensed moisture. With a loud impact and a compressed pop, Shang Li's heavy punch landed on the barrier, breaking through it instantly. But this act also caused the punch to lose all its built-up velocity and allowed Bai Ningbing to escape death. Even so, Shang Li took a glance at Fang Yuan, showing signs of admiration. If not for his superb cooperation, this hit would have been avoided by Bai Ningbing. It would not have forced Bai Ningbing to take the hit head-on, expending his primeval essence. Water Shield Gu again. Fang Yuan did not mind Shang Li's gaze, but focused on Bai Ningbing, frowning. It was this Water Shield Gu that alleviated Bai Ningbing's predicament. The defensive power of the Water Shield was superior to even the White Jade Gu. But it had a weakness. He needed to form a ball shape and rely on the moving water to draw the force away, dispersing the damage in order to display its full defensive capabilities. If Bai Ningbing was up against a wall, he cannot form a ball shape and his defense power would be greatly reduced. There are many forests on Qingmao Mountain, but even then Bai Ningbing had been very careful, making sure not to get into a tight spot. As long as I beat this water shield Gu, I can put Bai Ningbing in a tight spot. But how? Fang Yuan was thinking, but suddenly Bai Ningbing's mouth opened, and a new blue bird flew out. Shang Li and the others were fearful of this attack, but Fang Yuan was not flustered in the least. He snorted coldly, shooting a moonblade. With a bam, the moonblade hit the ice bird, causing it to explode. Bai Ningbing growled in a low voice, he was too close by, and after the ice bird exploded, he was hit by it too. The impact caused him to fly up and then fall onto the ground. At the same time, half of his left limb was frozen, losing its ability to fight. Divine opportunity. Seeing this, Shang Li's eyes shone with brilliance, shouting, "Go die!" And his arms gathered to form another punch towards Bai Ningbing. This hit was too heavy, and as Bai Ningbing was on the ground, the water shield Gu's defensive capabilities were less than half of the usual. If this hit his head, there was no doubt that he, Bai Ningbing, would instantly die. Chapter 137. Chapter 137, Shadow of Death. Seeing that Shang Li's fist was about to hit Bai Ningbing, Shang Lin and Shang Zhong both showed a joyful expression. Only Fang Yuan stood far away, his eyes shining with solemnness. With his understanding of Bai Ningbing, how could he commit such a beginner's mistake? As expected, at this moment, Bai Ningbing suddenly struck. His right hand and forearm's flesh all turned into a transparent blue frosty ice, from outside his finger bones could be seen. His fingers gathered straight, forming a palm blade and striking like lightning, puncturing Shang Li's heart. Ugh! Shang Li's descending body came to a halt. He stared with wide-opened eyes, lowering his head and staring at his chest in disbelief. How can this be, Lord Shang Li? With the sudden twist of events, Shang Zhong and Shang Lin could not believe it. You think my right arm was really broken by your punch? Naive. I already used the rank 3 ice muscle GU, and trained a body of ice muscles. This is the ultimate defense. The reason I pretended earlier was to give a certain someone a surprise. Bai Ningbing slowly got up, showing disdain in his eyes, and at the end of his speech, he looked towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's expression was calm, staring at him too. Plop. Bai Ningbing. Shang Li opened his mouth, saying his last words with difficulty. Bai Ningbing's ice hand spread out some cold air and froze his heart, cutting off his life force. Scheming scumbag, I will fight it out with you. Shang Lin saw Shang Li's death firsthand, and under the extreme pain and anger, he ignored his own danger and charged towards Bai Ningbing. Shang Lin, calm down. Shang Zhong acted in time, restraining Shang Lin. Group leader is dead, we are no longer his match, quickly leave, I'll block him. Shang Zhong controlled his sadness and said. Brother Shang Zhong. Shang Lin was dumbfounded, his eyes turning red. Shang Zhong shrugged his hand backwards and took a step forwards, blocking Bai Ningbing. Shadow Bond Gu. The shadow below his feet suddenly came alive, distorting creepily, connecting itself to Bai Ningbing's shadow. I have the Shadow Bond Gu. Once I get hurt, Bai Ningbing takes the same damage. He won't kill me so easily. Shang Lin, you are still young and have better talent than me or group leader, go away quickly. Shang Yang's gaze was locked onto Bai Ningbing as he shouted. Brother Shang Zhong. Shang Lin's eyes were teary, he knew the weakness of the Shadow Bond Gu. In the previous battle, Shang Zhong had used the Gu worm too, but once Bai Ningbing pulled sufficient distance, the shadow would split. Shang Zhong saying this was just to console him. Especially now, Shang Zhong did not have enough primeval essence, he had already used up too much, and even the roaming zombie Gu had stopped working. Shang Lin's feet seems to have taken roots, as he refused to move a step. He turned around, staring at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan, why are the reinforcements not here yet? Fang Yuan did not speak, only staring firmly at Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing moved his right arm, and after a while, his right arm regained its fleshy state. He used a mocking tone, reinforcements. He, they would have come long ago if it was the case, but this is all a lie. Tisk tisk tisk, you are even more naive than the other one. You really think such a cheap method like Shadow Bond Gu can restrain me? He stared at the shadow in disdain, not giving a fuck. Fang Yuan, is this true? Shang Lin clenched his fist, eyes speaking fire as he asked furiously. Fang Yuan did not care about him, but stared at Bai Ningbing, his mouth curling into a smile. That move earlier, it expended your primeval essence, right? By now, how much primeval essence do you still have in your aperture? Shangli used a defensive GU worm, but it was weaker than Fang Yuan's white jade GU. The result was that his defense was penetrated, but such an attack is clearly not owned by a rank 2 GU master. According to the earlier situation, Fang Yuan guessed that Bai Ningbing used the rank 3 Frost Demon GU. This GU's ability was strong, renowned among the rank 3 GU, but overuse harmed the user. Joint problems were just a light symptom, but if serious, one's muscles could be frozen and damaged, thus it needed to be used with other GU worms. Bai Ningbing had said earlier that his muscles had become ice muscles, and could take the cold of the frost. Thus, when used together with the Frost Demon GU, they complemented each other. This was still Bai Ningbing using rank 2 primeval essence to forcefully activate a rank 3 GU worm, so it had to have high consumption, but he needed to use such a method to break the stalemate. Bai Ningbing's expression changed. The move earlier had caused a great consumption of his primeval essence, and Fang Yuan saw through it. Thus, after killing Shangli, he did not strike again, but used the talking time to recover. He laughed heartily, nodding, and confessed, "Not bad, my primeval essence is running dry, I left my right limb unused to lure you to attack. But you didn't fall for it. He, the real battle is just starting, isn't it?" Fang Yuan squinted. If Bai Ningbing denied it, he would attack without doubt. But Bai Ningbing confessed, showing a look of fearlessness. Either that Bai Ningbing knew he was going to die, showing no fear towards death, or he probably had other strong trump cards and had great confidence in surviving. Ordinary GU masters only had 3 to 5 GU worms, even Qingshu and Kai Shan were as such. But there are exceptions. For example, Fang Yuan, with the Moonglow GU, White Jade GU, Stealth Scales GU, 4 Flavor Liquor Worm, Spring Autumn Cicada, Earth Communication Eargrass and 9-Leaf Vitality Grass, he had 7 GU worms in his possession. Bai Ningbing was the Bai clan's hope and had the Northern Dark Ice Soul body, an absolute genius. From the start of his cultivating journey, he had received the full support of his clan, his wealth definitely greater than Fang Yuan. Up till now, he had displayed over 6 GU worms. Fang Yuan was sure that he had others. And these GU worms allowed him to be calm despite being in this position of having little primeval essence. Actually, the most troublesome kind of opponent is like him. Not only having talent, but not fearing death, and having large amount of GU worms in hand. With these 3, it greatly affected a GU master's battle in terms of victory or loss. Especially GU worms, with a strong or special one, it can allow a GU master to overturn the situation. Bai Ningbing's Frost Demon GU was a rank 3 GU worm, so even with Fang Yuan's White Jade GU defending, he could be penetrated. This is also why Fang Yuan had not engaged Bai Ningbing personally. Fang Yuan had used Gu Manshi, Shangli and others to fish out Bai Ningbing's secrets. After all, only knowing one's enemy can one be assured of victory. In comparing talent, Fang Yuan was only AC grade. Compared to Bai Ningbing, it was a world of difference. Bai Ningbing started cultivating earlier and had the clan's assistance, and he had more outstanding GU worms in his possession than Fang Yuan. In terms of temperament, his fearlessness towards death made him almost invulnerable. The difference between the two was that Bai Ningbing was strong, and Fang Yuan was weak. This is the truth, he had to accept it and understand it. But battles are interesting because the strong might not necessarily win, and the weak might not always fall. Fang Yuan wanting to win against the odds, it was not impossible, but he had to use all of the methods he had, and make use of all the strength he could gather. Gu Manshi was just the beginning, and Shangli group is not the end. Thinking so, Fang Yuan struck. With a moonblade, a head flew away, and blood spewed. This moment, Bai Ningbing's iris shrunk to pin size, his face changing color. Fang Yuan's moonblade did not attack him, but was aimed at Shang Yang's head. Shang Zhang did not expect Fang Yuan's betrayal. Bai Ningbing's pressure was too great, and all his attention was gathered on the latter. He did not have much primeval essence left, so to conserve them, he did not maintain the roaming zombie GU, thus getting one-shotted. Bam! Bai Ningbing's face was pale as he vomited a mouthful of blood, and at the same time, his ears, nose and eyes had blood traces. Ever since the battle started, this was the most severe injury he had sustained. Shadow Bond GU. With the shared damage effect, when the Shadow Bond GU master sustains an injury, the Chain Link GU master takes 10% of the damage. Now that Shang Zhang is dead, his injuries were connected through the shadow and transmitted to Bai Ningbing. This injury with a direct effect, even if Bai Ningbing had the water shield GU, it cannot block against it. Fang Yuan, what have you done? A second later, Shang Lin came back from shock and shouted in a furious voice, heartbroken. Fang Yuan ignored him, his body glowing with white jade light as he charged towards Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing getting such an injury, his body was wavering, and his head was dizzy, his battle strength dropped drastically. Seeing Fang Yuan attacking, he retreated immediately. Bai Ningbing, didn't you want a life and death battle? Fang Yuan chased relentlessly. Bai Ningbing gritted his teeth, escaping silently. His footsteps were messy, but he forced himself to focus, ignoring Fang Yuan's taunting. Although he knew he was a dying man and did not fear death, he was not stupid, and with such a dangerous situation, his heart grew calmer. Shang Lin stood on the spot, not choosing to help Fang Yuan chase Bai Ningbing. His heart was filled with pain and anger. He hated Bai Ningbing, and also detested Fang Yuan. Bai and Fang moved closely, traversing the valley. As time passed, Bai Ningbing's injuries slowly recovered, and his nose and eyes stopped bleeding. Slowly his footsteps became more composed. He did not simply run away, but during this time, used his GU worm to heal his body's injuries. Fang Yuan's pursued and his heart was secretly shocked. Previously Bai Ningbing's primeval essence was almost fully expended, but during this time, the amount he recovered was enough to heal his own injuries. Northern Dark Ice Soul Body, 10 extreme talents, what sort of primeval essence recovery speed is this? The more he knew, the more determined he was to kill Bai Ningbing. Moonglow GU. Fang Yuan sent a moonblade around the size of a face flying, it flew across the sky, emitting a buzzing sound. Bai Ningbing heard this sound and tried to dodge, but his arm still got sliced away. An injury appeared and blood poured out, but the injury was quickly covered by a layer of frost, stopping the blood. Bai Ningbing had obtained the ice muscles, and once this is achieved, it was like the black and white boar goose strength increase, it required no primeval essence to sustain. But Bai Ningbing's heart continued to sink. Before his old injuries healed, new injuries would come. Evidently, Fang Yuan wanted to slowly grind him to death. Chapter 138. Chapter 138. Someone is actually chasing and trying to kill Bai Ningbing. There has never been anyone who forced me into such a state. Fang Yuan, you are interesting. Once I recover adequately, I'll definitely kill you. Bai Ningbing screamed in his heart as he ran. The killing intent from Fang Yuan had him feel suffocated. This to him, was an unprecedented experience. The thick aura of death made his body shudder, and it developed a twisted sense of excitement. Behind him, Fang Yuan was chasing and getting closer. Take this. He suddenly flicked his wrist, and threw a black-colored GU worm. Fang Yuan's steps came to a halt as if an enemy had appeared, but once he got closer, he found out that this was the plunder GU from Shangzan. Splat. With a light sound, Fang Yuan caught this GU worm in his hands. The plunder GU was a black beetle, and at a normal size, its head had a pair of metal antennae, and its back had white spots. Once the spring-autumn cicada revealed its aura, Fang Yuan easily refined this plunder GU and kept it in its aperture with some use of its primeval essence. He continued chasing. For Bai Ningbing to even use such a method, it showed the severity of his injuries and the desperate situation he was in. But with this action, the distance between Fang Yuan and him had been pulled apart again. Unfortunately, I lack a movement GU worm. If I had such a GU worm, I would have caught up to Bai Ningbing already. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart. This Fang Yuan, he actually refined the plunder GU instantly. Bai Ningbing was shocked in his heart. He obtained this plunder GU and had been refining it for the last few days. Although there were improvements, the process was tough and he did not succeed. This is also because Shangzan's death had an indirect relationship with him. The will of this plunder GU originated from Shangzan, thus, it had greater hatred towards Bai Ningbing and raised the difficulty in refining it. But Fang Yuan instantly refined this plunder GU, and Bai Ningbing, who only used his side vision to see this, could feel his heart turn shocked and dismayed. There are a few GU worms that can achieve this. But Bai Ningbing had never owned one, to think that Fang Yuan would instead. Unknowingly, he had become more wary of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's image in his heart had intensified in a dangerous and mysterious way. However, as time passed, Fang Yuan's heart was the one that sank. The longer it dragged, the more primeval essence would be recovered by Bai Ningbing, and the lesser injuries he has. Fang Yuan's advantage over him would become milder and milder. I'm afraid I won't be able to kill him this time. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart. According to this development, it won't be long before Bai Ningbing's injury and primeval essence recover sufficiently. Although Fang Yuan had been using the Moonglow GU to intensify the injuries on him, the Northern Dark Ice Soul Body's talent is too outstanding, it can be said to be a gift from heaven. The primeval essence recovery rate was even faster than Fang Yuan using primeval stones. Unless the people in front encountered a wolf pack, and are trapped. Or there will be a GU master group appearing, and can temporarily block Bai Ningbing. But if it is a Bai clan group, I'm in danger. Fang Yuan's thoughts flowed like a whirlpool as he started to have intentions to retreat. Their chase was a long road, but in the middle they did not encounter a single pack of wolves or a GU master group. This meant to say that Bai Ningbing, who is selecting the escape route, also has a Rakan GU worm and can avoid danger. Qingmao Mountain is so huge, he can escape in all directions. Fang Yuan has no way to force Bai Ningbing to run in one direction. Against the wolf tide, the most important thing is to be united and not be isolated by the wolf tide. Once you are isolated, you are in danger, Qing Shu told Fang Zheng as they were rushing on the road. If the opponent is the bold lightning wolf pack, we can defend using terrain, and defeat them head-on. But if it is the frenzy lightning wolf pack, the first thing to do is retreat, then use the signal GU, and wait for the surrounding GU masters to regroup. We need at least 3 groups to cooperate to have a good chance of defeating the frenzy lightning wolf. Of course, opponents in the wolf tide are not just lightning wolves, but also GU masters. Saying so, GUU Qing Shu paused. The other 4 knew who he was talking about. Evidently, it was Bai Ningbing. These days, Bai Ningbing had been challenging people all over, suppressing his cultivation and only using the rank 2 red steel primeval essence, and found trouble with Shangli, Kai Shan and the rest. From what he declared, GUU Qing Shu is his next target. If we encounter Bai Ningbing, GUU Qing Shu continued, the best would be to avoid battling. This sentence entered Fang Zheng's ears and caused his heart to feel disturbed. In his heart, GUU Qing Shu, although mild on the outside, had a tough personality and stuck close to his principles. From GUU Qing Shu, he could feel a strong sense of kinship. Towards GUU Qing Shu, he respected and loved him, and naturally was not willing to see Bai Ningbing being superior to Qing Shu. Everyone is discussing Bai Ningbing, what kind of person is he? Fang Zheng frowned and asked. The 3 other people in the group became solemn. GUU Qing Shu smiled kindly towards Fang Zheng, he is Qingmao Mountain's #1 genius. Fang Zheng, listen well. You are still young, and have a great talent, you might be able to surpass him in the future. So before you fully grow up, avoid direct conflicts with him. Remember the story I told you before? Lowering your head and raising it, sometimes, people have to lower their heads. Fang Zheng looked towards Qing Shu, and when they made eye contact, he could not help but nod and respond, I understand, brother Qing Shu. Please be rest assured. Good, Qing Shu was still speaking, when suddenly the Rakan GU master interrupted, not too far away ahead, there is a GU master rapidly moving. Everyone's expressions changed. The healing GU master GUU Yao Hong's expression was solemn, must be a small group that got scattered by the wolf pack, let's go save them. Fang Zheng said instead, could it be Bai Ningbing, doesn't he travel alone usually? It could be him, or not. But if it really is a GU master that got lost, no matter which village, they are our alliance mate. We have to go save them, GUU Qing Shu said, turning direction and charging towards the GU master. The 4 around him followed closely. But quickly, the Rakan GU master spoke, it is not a GU master, behind the first GU master, there is another one. It's actually 2 GU masters huh? It seems that the situation is just like Sister Yao Hong had said. It should be a group that got separated by the wolf packs, GUU Fang Zheng sighed a breath of relief. GUU Qing Shu's expression was unchanging, but the other 3's expression became more relaxed. At this point, if one was observing from a higher point of view, they would see Qing Shu's group, Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing, getting closer along the mountain road. Oh, Bai Ningbing's expression changed. He had a Rakan GU, and he felt that a group of 5 GU masters were approaching. He quickly changed his direction. Although he had a Rakan-type GU worm, it could not detect the identities of the people ahead. Every GU worm had one ability, thus it had pros and cons. Taking Fang Yuan's earth communication ear grass for example, it can hear noise and is most sensitive to footsteps, but it cannot discern information like male or female. And if a GU master uses the silent step GU, they can conceal their footsteps and he would not be able to detect them. Not knowing who it was, to play it safe, Bai Ningbing chose to avoid them. But this time, the situation was different. Qing Shu's group was full of elites, and their Rakan Gu master was a professional as well. There's someone. Soon after, Fang Yuan detected the existence of Qing Shu group. He was sprinting, and his right ear had roots growing out, but did not go into the ground, thus his detection range was not even half of its peak. Bai Ningbing changed his running direction again. But Qing Shu group followed closely, changing their direction to match. This way, be it Bai Ningbing or Fang Yuan, their expressions turned serious. The two were extremely clever, they knew at once, this unknown group is the biggest uncertainty, it would definitely affect the result of the battle. If it is a Bai clan group, I will immediately use the stealth scales GU and retreat. But if it is the other two clans, hee. Fang Yuan's eyes shone with coldness. He knew that this decision carried certain risks. If it was a Bai clan group and the GU masters among them had a detection method, he would be chased into a dead end. But if he lost this prime opportunity, he would probably never have another shot at killing Bai Ningbing. Furthermore, whichever clan the GU masters are from, Fang Yuan had a 66% chance, while Bai Ningbing only had 1/3, so Fang Yuan had reason to gamble. As they sprinted, the two parties continued to get closer. We can almost see them, right behind that turning point, the Rakan Gu master pointed at a curve along the mountain path. They could not help but slow their footsteps, awaiting the meeting further ahead. A white figure turned around the corner, and appeared in front of them. Bai Ningbing, Fang Zheng shouted in dismay, he had obviously seen Bai Ningbing's portrait before. The other four, even Qing Shu's expression sank. Bai Ningbing is in such a sorry state, he must have encountered a frenzy lightning wolf pack. HMPH, he deserves this, traveling alone in the wolf tide, what airs is he trying to put on? Everyone at once, did not go up and meet with him. Bai Ningbing's movements and expression, showed signs of escaping, this caused Qing Shu group to feel happy internally. But at this moment, Fang Yuan shouted from over the corner, Bai Ningbing, why are you running? I must kill you today. Saying this, he was trying to test water. Using the earth communication ear grass, he knew that around the corner, there was an unknown group of 5. If it is a Bai clan group, this proclamation would invite their intense rebuttal. Around the corner, Qing Shu and the others heard this and their eyeballs rolled wide. What's going on? There's actually someone chasing and trying to kill Bai Ningbing. Did I get it wrong? Something like this is happening. Getting Bai Ningbing into such a pathetic state, who in the world is behind him? Ji Yu Yao Hong could not help but look at each other, a look of shock all over their faces. Ji Yu Fang Zheng was shocked and suspicious, this voice, why is it so familiar? Before he could remember the owner of the voice, Fang Yuan turned around the corner. What? Ji Yu Qing Shu's serious expression turned into dumbfoundedness. The other four stared with their eyes wide opened, after seeing Fang Yuan appear, their eyeballs almost dropped. This. Ji Yu Yao Ji opened her mouth wide, big enough to swallow a duck egg. Big brother. Fang Zheng was tongue-tied. It's him. Even Ji Yu Qing Shu with outstanding composure, was shocked beyond words. Chapter 139. Chapter 139. Broken Arm. Who was Bai Ningbing? The #1 genius of Qingmao Mountain, someone who could single-handedly change the structure of the 3 clans, whose cultivation speed left everyone dumbfounded, dimming the luster of even a great geniuses. No one doubted his future accomplishments, even his enemies had no choice but to accept the fact his talent was unparalleled. However, now someone was actually making this genius flee in such a wretched state. No one among the Qing Shu group expected this. What was even more astonishing was that the person chasing after Bai Ningbing was actually from their clan, Fang Yuan. Regarding their impressions of Fang Yuan, they were mainly based around the arena battles and chasing away river-swallowing toad. And since the moment Fang Yuan had admitted defeat to Shang Li, his true strength was widely underestimated. When did Fang Yuan become so powerful? The Qing Shu group found this difficult to accept. Fang Yuan turned around the corner. Ji Yu Qing Shu. His mind jolted when he saw the Ji Yu Qing Shu group. I won the gamble. Bai Ningbing, today will be the day you die, Fang Yuan thought. He shouted, little brother, you were here. Great, quickly stop Bai Ningbing. He is a heinous murderer who killed the Shangli group and even our clan's Ji Yu Manshi group. What? But our clans have signed a treaty. No, nothing is too excessive for Bai Ningbing. So it was like that. No wonder Fang Yuan was able to chase Bai Ningbing. The Qing Shu group was shocked and came to a realization. It seemed that after Bai Ningbing had fought several intense battles, his fighting power had fallen to its lowest state, allowing Fang Yuan to luckily seize the upper hand. Am I really going to die here? No, I have just enough primeval essence to self-detonate the frost demon GU. I still have hope, Bai Ningbing thought in his mind. In front of him was the Qingshu group and behind him was Fang Yuan. The situation was extremely unfavorable. Actually, there was a rift in Fang Yuan and Fang Zheng's relationship. Fang Zheng naturally wouldn't heed Fang Yuan's words. However, Bai Ningbing didn't know of this. As an outsider, he only saw the similarity in appearance between Fang Zheng and Fang Yuan, and firmly made a choice. He lifted his right arm, pouring all the hard-earned primeval essence that he had recovered into the frost demon GU in his right palm. The muscles in his right arm transformed into a light blue ice. One could clearly see the white bones of his arm within the ice. Bang! With an explosive sound, Bai Ningbing's whole right arm suddenly self-detonated. Steam and mist arose, and an intense chill started to crazily pervade the surroundings. Snap, crack, pure, white frost spread onto the narrow mountain path in the blisteringly hot summer, covering the soil and the trees. The temperature abruptly dropped. He sacrificed his entire right arm. Fang Zheng was aghast by Bai Ningbing's ruthless move. Quick, retreat! Yu Qingshu grabbed Fang Zheng and hurriedly ran away. Great amounts of frost rushed towards them like the wolf tide. It would be very troublesome if they actually got frozen. Fang Yuan retreated to a distance of 100 steps along with the Qingshu group as the onslaught of frost gradually dwindled. Originally, the mountain path had been full of lush trees, filled with the fragrance of wild plants. Now, it had become a world of ice. The trees were all frozen and there was a thick layer of snow on the ground. Fang Yuan stepped onto the snow and approached the middle of the mountain path. Bai Ningbing's whole body was frozen in ice like an insect in amber, his expression still showing the malevolent decisiveness and ruthlessness of his personality. He suicided, Fang Zheng muttered. The Qingshu group had quickly followed after Fang Yuan. No, Qingshu's expression was very heavy. Bai Ningbing has already formed ice muscles. This layer of ice crystals won't freeze him to death and will instead act as his armor, giving him time to recover. Fang Yuan stared closely at Bai Ningbing and threw a moonblade. Screech! The moonblade produced a crisp sound when it struck the ice crystals. On the 3 meters high and 2 meters wide ice crystal, there was only a shallow scar. But in just a moment, the cold aura within the ice crystal filled the injury and the scar disappeared. Fang Yuan, is what you said earlier true? Qingshu turned his gaze towards Fang Yuan. Of course, only Xianglin remains of the Xiangli group and he can testify for me. We can't stay here for too long, the details will have to wait. We must quickly leave this place. Fang Yuan nodded and answered. He had made up his mind to leave. He knew he was unable to destroy this ice crystal. Even if they were to combine their strengths to destroy it, it would waste a lot of time and primeval essence. If Bai Ningbing broke out of the ice, their fighting strength would have dropped and his fighting strength would have recovered, making it a bad situation if a battle started. Leave? Why should we leave? Fang Zheng couldn't refrain from asking in a loud voice. Bai Ningbing has already destroyed his right arm and with the battles he went through, he is tired both mentally and physically. We can break open this ice crystal and activate the signal GU for the clan's reinforcements to eliminate him. This is an extremely rare opportunity. Everyone's hearts were moved by these words. Since Fang Yuan could chase Bai Ningbing and try to kill him, why can't we do the same? Several GU masters looked at each other and they couldn't help but have such thoughts. If we kill Bai Ningbing, we will become great heroes of the GU clan. But if we kill him, won't the Bai village start a war in their anger? And now, there is the wolf tide. No, it is exactly because there is a wolf tide that even if we kill Bai Ningbing, Bai village will just have to swallow their bitterness. Right, a dead genius isn't a genius. The group members discussed, their minds set on the fame and glory. Truly stupid, how can you imagine the power of the northern dark ice soul physique? Fang Yuan squinted his eyes while sneering inwardly. He was not going to accompany these people if they wanted to look for death. Yu Qingshu also hesitated. He, no doubt, had much deeper understanding of Bai Ningbing than the rest of the group. He didn't know of the secret of the 10 extreme physiques, but he didn't have much yearning towards the fame from killing Bai Ningbing, either. He was indifferent towards fame and profits. He had once been nurtured by Gu Bo as the next clan head, but he willingly gave up this position to Fang Zheng. His true concerns lay within the interests of the clan, and his heart was intricately linked with the clan's well-being. Bai village's emergence is completely due to Bai Ningbing. If we kill Bai Ningbing, our Gu clan will remain the #1 clan of Qingmao Mountain. Although Bai Ningbing is a rank 3 Gu master, I have the wood charm GU and the ability to fight with him. Moreover, he just lost his right arm and he will certainly need some time to get used to the absence of a limb. This can be the greatest disadvantage in a life and death battle. Qing Shu thought. Qing Shu's gaze turned resolute. Fang Yuan was observing Qing Shu's expression the entire time. He realized what the latter had chosen to do when he saw Qing Shu's expression. If Qing Shu uses the wood charm GU without any regards to the consequences, he will be much stronger than the average rank 3 GU master and even have the power to surpass levels and fight. However, the one he is facing is Bai Ningbing, who possesses the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique. The battle definitely won't be easy. Since Bai Ningbing can dilute his primeval essence and suppress his cultivation, he can naturally restore his rank 3 cultivation. Right now, he has enough time inside the ice crystal to remove this restriction. Once he breaks out, he will very likely be as a rank 3 GU master. Bai Ningbing was extremely talented and Fang Yuan had needed external help to fight against him even when Bai Ningbing's cultivation was suppressed to rank 2. Once Bai Ningbing enters rank 3, his fighting strength would rise by several times. Fang Yuan was the main cause of the loss of his right arm. When the battle begins, Bai Ningbing's ruthless temperament will definitely target Fang Yuan. Moreover, Fang Yuan had some concerns and didn't want to reveal his true strength in front of Qing Shu. Thus, Fang Yuan immediately expressed his intention to leave and left the battlefield, ignoring the urges of others to stay. He really left. Such a coward. HMPH, him leaving is good. If he were to meddle, it might instead destroy our tacit teamwork. Ha ha ha, it really frightened me when I saw him chasing after Bai Ningbing. Now, it seems Fang Yuan is indeed Fang Yuan, a coward who admitted defeat in the GU battle competition. Quit it, everyone has their own ambitions. At least, he gave us intel on Bai Ningbing before he left. Moreover, he will inform the clan who will send reinforcements. As Qing Shu gazed at the departing figure of Fang Yuan, his brows slightly furrowed. Group leader, you are too kind. There is no need to justify for cowards like Fang Yuan. Right, although Fang Yuan is Fang Zheng's older brother, the way I see it, one is earth and the other is heaven. I have already stopped talking with Fang Yuan. Fang Zheng's face grew red, he felt ashamed at Fang Yuan's running away before battle. Fang Zheng, you leave too, Qing Shu suddenly spoke. What? Fang Zheng's eyes were wide open. As the clan's only a grade talent, we can't lose you. Bai Ningbing may have lost an arm, but the following battle will definitely be very dangerous. For the clan, we can die, but you, Fang Zheng, must not die. The other 4 members were all moved. Well said. A bright laughter echoed and an old GU master appeared. Lord Elder. Fang Zheng promptly paid his respects. He recognized this man as a very senior clan elder. The elder drew near, looking at Qing Shu with praise. Bo raised a great adopted son. With such feelings of fighting to the death for the clan, why would we have to worry about our GU clan not expanding? Fang Zheng was still growing up and after the Wang Er's assassination attempt, the clan had sent an elder to always follow Fang Zheng and protect him. Fang Zheng, you don't need to take part in the fight. But don't leave, you can just observe from a distance. Isn't it just a Bai Ningbing? I've always heard about how outstanding he is and how he has the strength of an elder. HMPH, now it seems he is only just a kid. How much battle experience can he have? Mutilating himself, he is really amateurish. The elder snorted in disdain. Qing Shu still wanted to persist in his own viewpoint, but it wouldn't be good to refute the elder's decision. As a junior, he needed to respect the old and take care of the young. How could he so easily refute and question his elder? Chapter 140. Chapter 140. Qing Shu vs Bai Ningbing Part 1. The time Bai Ningbing took to break out of the ice was shorter than anyone had imagined. With a loud crack, the ice crystal began to fracture, the cracks intensifying until it completely broke from within. The clan elder, Qing Shu, Yao Hong and the others, totaling up to 5 altogether, had surrounded him. Fang Zheng was standing far away on the mountain slope, staring at the battle from a higher ground while staying vigilant. Once a Bai clan GU master group appears, he has to send out a warning immediately. Bai Ningbing, you dare to kill the GU masters in our clan, breaking the 3-clan alliance openly. Paying a life for a life is natural law. What else do you have to say? The clan elder said with a haughty snort. Bai Ningbing did not pay him any mind, staying quiet and staring at his right arm instead. His left arm floundered in vain, grasping nothing as it was reaching for something that wasn't even there in the first place. He started to frown, his face dim like water as lightning started to nurture between his eyes. Actually forcing me to lose off my right arm, this guy is called Fang Yuan, right? Listening to Shang Li and Qing Shu's words, he had already learned Fang Yuan's name. Muttering, Bai Ningbing's pair of crystal blue eyes was filled with extremely callous killing intent. His body emanated the oppressive aura of a rank 3 GU master. As Fang Yuan had predicted earlier, with the capabilities to seal his own cultivation, Bai Ningbing was also able to release the restrictions on it. It was just that in the battle earlier, he did not have sufficient time to unlock it. Now, the white-silver primeval essence of rank 3 filled his aperture fully. The dense primeval essence placed great pressure on his surrounding aperture walls. Bai Ningbing knew that he was moving towards the path of destruction. A GU master's aperture produced primeval essence, and the primeval essence in turn, nurtures the aperture. The truth being, as long as the primeval essence exists within the aperture, it acts as a form of nurturing towards the aperture. It is just that this effect is not very evident, far less effective than the GU master using the primeval essence to do so. This was similar to how a still seawater would still have a corrosive effect towards surrounding rocks, but this effect is less evident than the waves hitting on the rocks. But to the northern dark ice soul physique, after attaining rank 3, even if they do not expend primeval essence, as long as the primeval essence is stored in the aperture, the nurturing effect would be the same as if a GU master was actively using the primeval essence to nurture their aperture. This is the secret behind the northern dark ice soul physique's ability to raise a GU master's cultivation at rocket speed. Moreover, this nurturing effect would become stronger as the primeval essence is refined. At rank 4, as long as primeval essence exists within the aperture, they would nourish the aperture and the effect would be several times better than a regular GU master using primeval essence to nurture their aperture. With ordinary GU masters, the higher their cultivation, the slower the speed of cultivation. However, the 10 extreme physiques were the opposite. The higher the cultivation, the stronger their aptitude and the faster their cultivation, until they explode into oblivion. As an analogy, it is similar to a person in free fall. Dependent on the posture and qualities of that person, they would continue to accelerate as they descended, albeit dying a horrible death once they reach the ground. The 10 extreme physiques, cultivation technique is falling from the highest point with the most suited conditions to fall faster than anyone else. As their cultivation gets faster and faster, it only gives them the temporary glory that they attain before they face the threat of death approaching. Like a meteor landing on Earth, moving toward its own destruction, the point where it shines the brightest comes only at the very moment where it burns up completely in the atmosphere. Earlier, the reason Bai Ningbing had diluted his white-silver primeval essence into red-steel primeval essence was because of this. Right now, his aperture was completely filled with white-silver primeval essence again, and he could feel that every second, his cultivation was steadily rising and improving. Actually forcing me to use the white-silver primeval essence, and even making me go as far as to sacrifice the Frost Demon GU. Where is Fang Yuan? Bai Ningbing's killing intent intensified as he asked. His blue iris swept across the surroundings, but could not find a trace of Fang Yuan. The Frost Demon GU that he sacrificed was a rank 3 GU worm, one that he only managed to refine after 3 failures and consuming a large amount of resources. Now that it was gone, it is truly a waste. Although Bai Ningbing is rank 3, it only happened recently, and even with the clan's support, he could not hog all the resources to himself. Thus, he only had 2 rank 3 GU worms. Now that the Frost Demon GU is gone, he only had the Blue Bird Ice Coffin GU left. The more he thought about it, the more he felt angered. Since the start of his youth, he had never suffered such a loss. If Fang Yuan was here, he'd have attacked in a frenzy with no one able to stop him. Bai Ningbing's disregard caused the GUU clan elder to feel greatly humiliated. Arrogant young lad, eat my moonblade slash. He shouted, and jumped. HMPH. Bai Ningbing's left arm swept, and the frost air that gushed out formed into a long ice blade. The original ice blade he created was only over a meter long, but now it was 2 meters in length, with an even deadlier edge and greater frost energy. Ching! The clan elder raised both hands shining with moonlight to collide with the ice blade, emitting a metallic noise. The clan elder's face was full of shock however as he took a step back, and both his palms clapped together and slashed out. Golden Moon Slash. A curved moonblade, over a meter long with a golden body, emitted a dominating aura as it flew out. The golden moonlight reflected on Bai Ningbing's pale face. He laughed as he raised the ice blade in his left hand, attacking head-on. Clank. Moonblade and ice blade colliding, the golden moon disappeared, and the ice blade broke into small fragments of ice. This is a battle between rank 3 GU masters. Really strong, not only the ice blade, but also that golden moonblade, I cannot block either. Far away, Fang Zheng watched in fascination, with his lacking knowledge. How can this be? A rank 2 ice blade GU, managing to block my rank 3 moonhand blade, as well as the golden moon. Clan Elder stared with bulging eyes, disbelief in his tone. The Northern Dark Ice Soul physique had a strengthening effect towards Ice GU, a variation of Water-type GU. In addition, this boost grew stronger as the GU Master's cultivation rose. Bai Ningbing, at rank 3 in cultivation, can make a rank 2 GU worm display rank 3 power. When he is rank 4, if he used a rank 4 GU worm, it would have an effect that can even surpass rank 5. Firstly, he suppressed his cultivation, thus only the effect of recovering primeval essence remained. Now that his limiter was off and he was back to rank 3, the Northern Dark Ice Soul physique's true ability was starting to show up. HMPH, old man, you don't know a lot of things. Bai Ningbing's feet paused, holding his ice blade horizontally, as he started to rotate. Hoo hoo hoo. The intense sound of the wind enveloped him as he became faster and faster. Howl. The wind seemed to have transformed into a beast howl, a 5-meter sword storm forming after a matter of minutes. The tornado-like winds were white in color, whipping out and causing the people nearby to have numb senses. Quickly dodge. Even a clan elder, upon seeing this, did not dare to challenge it, he quickly avoided. But the other rank 2 GU masters could not manage to dodge in time. The ice blade storm came at once, with a speed 3 times or even greater than before. Ah! As soon as the 2 male GU masters were caught up in the storm, their cries came to a stop. In a matter of seconds, they were already minced to a paste by the ice blades and lost their lives on the spot. Save me! GU Yao Hong screamed in fear, seeing that she was about to be swept into the tornado and perish. Green Vine GU. GU Qing Shu shot out green vines, which quickly coiled around GU Yao Hong's waist like snakes. Just as he was about to drag her back, the ice blade storm had already reached her, devouring her in one shot. Swish swish swish. The ice blades instantly went to work, cutting this female GU master into 5 or 6 pieces. The icy air had already frozen her blood before she could bleed. Soon after, these pieces were further cut into smaller pieces, forming palm-sized frozen corpse fragments. Yao Hong. Seeing this scene, Qing Shu grieved with sorrowful eyes. Sister Yao Hong. On the slope, Fang Zheng could not take such an intense scene, kneeling on the ground with a soulless gaze, tears overflowing from his eyes. Damn it, steel shirt GU. The clan elder took a deep breath as his body glowed with black light, looking as he was covered in a steel armor. He used both arms to cover his face as his legs sprinted, charging towards the icy blue ice blade storm. Chink chink chink. He charged inside bravely. In a few breaths' time, the ice blades hacked on his body numerous times, emitting a crisp sound. A moment later, the storm ended. Bai Ningbing and the clan elder faced each other. Old thing, you are asking for death. Bai Ningbing's blue iris were purer, complementing his white hair and white clothes while standing still in the cold winds. His left hand's ice blade had already broken into 2. But this did not stop it from penetrating the elder's heart. Huh! Clan elder lowered his head, staring at his left chest, his mouth emitting a sound of helplessness and shock. Bai Ningbing let go of his right hand, abandoning this ice blade. He walked past the clan elder, steadily approaching. Behind him, the clan elder's face was covered with a light blue frost, and soon he collapsed onto the ground to never get up again. Far away, Fang Zheng saw this scene and his irises shrunk to the size of pins, intense fear spreading throughout his body. This was out of his wildest dreams. A grand rank 3 clan elder actually died like this. This Bai Ningbing is so strong. Where is Fang Yuan? Tell me, and I can let you die peacefully. Bai Ningbing walked towards Jiu Qing Shu. Bai Ningbing, Jiu Qing Shu sighed deeply, staring at Bai Ningbing without fear. You and I have fought over 10 times, you are getting stronger, and right now I have to admit that you have surpassed me. But your strength cannot cause me to betray my clansmen. Come, fight me. Just you, hee hee. Bai Ningbing snorted in disdain, turning around to look at Fang Zheng, raising a brow. That is Fang Yuan's brother. Jiu Qing Shu's expression changed, taking a big step out and blocking Bai Ningbing. Don't think of finding trouble with him. Bai Ningbing's face sank. You are quite an interesting opponent, keeping you alive can add some color to my life. But my mood is very bad now, don't take my patience for granted. Tell me nicely, which direction Fang Yuan went? Jiu Qing Shu replied him in the most direct way with action. He closed his eyes, and opened them again. Would charm Ji Yu.